Chapter-241-260. Also, Sarutobi Hiruzen noticed the words Luhan mentioned, and immediately understood. You already know, right? Yes, it has been turned away in Anbu. Luhan nodded. Huanfeng is not the kind of silent person, and there is no need for him to hide it. It seems that inside Anbu, there are many people who don't like you. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. It's not that there are many, it's that no one is optimistic about me at all. Who made me only 13 years old? Luhan said a little helplessly. You don't look like you are 13 years old. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled lightly. You are calmer than most of the people I've met, but calmness is just an appearance. Your heart is more arrogant than the average person. You want to planning and accepting the challenge of magic front. Naturally, Luhan nodded. In fact, Luhan was still hesitating before. He didn't want to waste time, but he didn't want to stain his resume in Anbu, and what Sarutobi Hiruzen said before made Luhan firm up his idea of accepting the challenge. If Luhan retreats and let Huanfeng directly become the acting captain, things will become very troublesome. Sarutobi Hiruzen has the right to cancel the position of acting captain, and also has the right to let Luhan directly become the deputy captain, but it cannot eliminate the adverse impact on Luhan. This kind of influence is like someone who challenged the position of captain and succeeded in becoming the captain, but was dismissed by Hokage, and then Hokage appointed a new captain. Under such circumstances, the new captain is difficult to convince the public. The rationale is the same. Acting captain, vice captain, the functions are almost the same, but the name has been changed. So, Sarutobi Hiruzen thought, speaking slowly, if you plan to accept the challenge, I have no objection, but you have to win. I will let Danzo arrange special tasks. Tasks that are more conducive to your personal abilities. Make sure you win the mission battles so you don't have to compete with him in terms of strength and his challenge will fail. Master Hokage is helping me cheat? Luhan asked in surprise. Sarutobi Hiruzen admitted unabashedly. That's not good. Lord Hokage doesn't seem to want Huanfeng to act as the captain. In fact, if he is really capable, I don't feel comfortable handing over Anbu's rule to the Uchiha ninja when White Fang leaves Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen said very directly. The end, Sarutobi Hiruzen still can't fully trust the Uchiha ninja. This prejudice of Sarutobi Hiruzen comes from his teacher, Hokage Senju Tobirama, the second generation. No one is more wary of the Uchiha tribe than the late Senju Tobirama. In fact, it can't be said to be prejudice, because the Uchiha people have always been very quiet. This time is different from the previous situation. Sarutobi Hiruzen had previously considered that he could let Huanfeng serve as the acting captain to compete with Benin Hyuga. At that time, Hitaki Sakumo was recovering from Anbu's injury and could still handle some affairs. In this case, Sarutobi Hiruzen has a plan: let White Fang go to the country of Vortex after recovering from his injury. At that time, except Sarutobi Hiruzen himself, no one can check and balance the power of the vice captain. How about this? Sarutobi Hiruzen said quickly without waiting for Luhan to speak. You abdicate and let Huanfeng directly become the acting captain. After that, I will dismiss him and appoint you as the deputy captain. As for the influence, I believe in you. It's only a matter of time before it has the ability to remove the negative effects. Quote. That seems like a lot of trouble. It's more troublesome for you to lose to him. The impact will be worse. Lord Hokage, I promise, I won't lose. Luhan was serious. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a while before saying, then I'll let Danzo arrange. No, Lord Hokage, there is no need for a task. It will take at least a few days or even a dozen days. Now the situation is so chaotic, you shouldn't waste time on that kind of thing. Luhan's words are somewhat disrespectful, but he believes that Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't mind. Lord Hokage, if you allow me. Then I'll go back to fight now. Let's go straight to the battle of strength. I'll beat him. Quiet. Very quiet. What Sarutobi Hiruzen is most worried about is that Lu Han will be injured or even die when he competes with Uchiha Baiyi. But Lu Han just chose to compete with Uchiha Baiyi in terms of strength. This. Have you become Hiraishin? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked suddenly. Not yet. Lu Han shook his head. Then where did your confidence come from? Sarutobi Hiruzen squinted. You must know that you killed the Ma Ankang people by relying on special ninja swords and sneak attacks, and Wanfang. His own strength is no better than holding a double sword. How bad are the Ma Ankang people of the sword and flounder? Lord Hokage, Lu Han said in a helpless tone, it was already a few months ago that the people of Ma Ankang were killed. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent, he was hesitating. He understood what Lu Han meant. Lu Han's strength improved very fast. He is stronger than he was a few months ago. But Sarutobi Hiruzen understands even more. The strength of a ninja only needs to reach a certain height. If you want to improve again, it is very slow. This has a lot to do with ninjutsu. The higher the level of master ninjutsu, the greater the improvement in strength, but there are only so many levels of ninjutsu. Geniuses can master D, C, B, and even A in a certain period of time. Technique. But what about after? S-level techniques cannot be mastered quickly, so master 2A level techniques. 3. That will certainly improve the strength, but how big can the improvement be? The amount of chakra is also a big problem, it is difficult to increase quickly. You go first, I'll think about it. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, he seems to have some headaches. In fact, he can try Lu Han's strength, but he can't be sure how strong Huanfeng is now, so it's useless to try. Anbu Station. When Lu Han walked out of the passage, the cave square quickly became quiet, and then the ninjas near the passage greeted Lu Han as usual. Although they knew what was going to happen, the ability of Lord Hengguang had already been obtained. With their affirmation, they will not take it lightly. It doesn't happen that people take tea to cool off. Where's Huanfeng? Lu Han asked with a glance. No one was in the square. Master Wanfeng went to rest. Anbu Ninja, who was closest to Lu Han, replied. Let him come over. Lu Han turned his head and commanded, tell him, I want to learn from him. Chapter 0242-Arrogant Brat. The cave room full of flames, Uchiha Bai sat cross-legged on the long tree, silent. It seems like a lot of time has passed. Dong dong. The knock on the door suddenly sounded, followed by a respectful voice outside the door. Master Wanfeng, Captain Hengguang called you to the main hall. Huh. Uchiha Baiyi opened his eyes in an instant, a pair of 3 Tomo Sharingan flashed, and then he smiled and said, understood, I'll go over immediately. The reason why he smiled is because he knew that he challenged the acting captain. The job should have been decided by Hokage-sama. Before he went to see Sarutobi Hiruzen did not give him a clear answer, just let him wait for the news, but now, Hengguang told him to go to the main hall. If the challenge is rejected by Sarutobi Hiruzen will definitely send someone to talk to him, and Hengguang can't say anything to him. The logic is correct. Hengguang, I am really sorry. Uchiha Baiyi thought, laughing and muttering in a low voice, then he rose up on the long tree and disappeared abruptly. Cave Square. As soon as Uchiha Baiyi walked out of the passage, he felt that the atmosphere was not right. More than 100 Anbu ninjas gathered in the cave square. The expert Senju Luojian was also there. They all gathered around the competition venue. When Baiyi appeared, they all turned to look. Some people gave Uchiha Baiyi a positive look, and some looked strange, and Uchiha Baiyi was a little stunned. What's the situation? Call suddenly disappeared at the entrance of the passage, and the next moment, Uchiha Baiyi appeared on the edge of the competition arena. On the sparring arena, Lu Han stood with his hands behind his back, his face expressionless. He had been waiting to see Uchiha Baiyi come over and glanced at him. Uchiha looked around in Baiyi, not knowing what was going on, then looked at Lu Han and said, Lord Hengguang, are you looking for me? It's still respectful, as long as Lu Han is the acting captain, he won't be on the bright side. Offended. Anbu has strict rules. Like the time when Hyuga Luo Ning dared to obstruct Lu Han in public, it rarely happens. I just talked to Lord Hokage. Lu Han looked at Uchiha Bai calmly. Lord Hokage has not decided on your challenge to the position of acting captain. He is still considering the pros and cons, and whether it is necessary. Lord Hangguang, the position of acting captain is reserved for those who are capable. Although you are capable, I, Wanfang, are not necessarily worse than you, right? I believe you can understand that I am not targeting you. Uchiha Bai said, but he showed a faint smile, and the arrogance hidden in his bones was naturally revealed. That's right. Lu Han nodded, but said again, but I think it's very troublesome and a waste of time, so I think we can learn from each other. The winner will be determined in one round. If you can beat me, I will abdicate. I will give you the position of acting captain. If I win, you will take it easy for me. Quiet. Silence. Although the ninjas around already knew what Lu Han wanted to do, it was still a little hard to accept when Lu Han said it himself. Lord Hangguang, doing this is equivalent to pushing himself to a dead end. Such an arrogant approach, if you lose, you will be ashamed. Uchiha Bai was stunned. Learn from each other. A game to decide the winner. He was a little caught off guard. Immediately ecstatic. He suddenly felt as if God was looking after him. Learning is not a life and death struggle. Both sides must keep their hands, and can't go too far. Otherwise, if you can't hold back and cause casualties, the nature will change. From any point of view, learning from each other is more advantageous to Uchiha Bai. First, he has Sharingan. He can activate any ability of Sharingan. Demonic illusion has a hard time killing opponents outright, so no reservations are needed. You can use it with all your strength when you are sparring. Uchiha Bai only needs to control the casting of Kaden, fire-style ninjutsu. Second, don't worry that the cold light will be desperate. When ninjas are fighting to the death, they are most afraid that one party will go all out and die. In this ninja world, it often happens that a powerful ninja kills a ninja more powerful than himself, just because he dares to work hard. Big deal to die together. If I die, you don't want to live. Uchiha Bai was very worried that Hangguang would have such a mentality. After all, he was an elite Jonin. If he worked hard, it would not be impossible to kill a stronger opponent, but he would not be able to survive. Discuss with each other to ensure the safety of both parties. Both sides have reservations. Lu Han will not go all out. For Uchiha Bai, the scale of victory seems to have completely tilted towards him. Lord Hangguang, don't you think about it, is this too hasty? Uchiha Bai asked. Are you afraid that I won't admit it? Not really, it's just. Without the permission of Lord Hokage, if I hurt Lord Hangguang during the competition, I'm afraid I won't be able to explain it well. Oh, I propose the discussion. Even if I die in this competition, it's not your responsibility. Lu Han smiled and swept his eyes around. Every colleague present can be a witness. Look again to Uchiha Bai, you don't need to worry. Lord Hangguang, then, offend me. Call. As soon as Uchiha Bai finished his words, he disappeared on the edge of the field, and then appeared more than 10 meters in front of Lu Han. The huge sparring venue looked extremely empty, and Lu Han and Uchiha Bai fought against each other. Damn, what the hell is a Feng doing? Why haven't you brought Captain White Fang? Kato looked anxious at the northern edge of the arena. He asked his younger brother Kato Feng to find White Fang, and wanted White Fang to stop the discussion. But no one has been found yet. An antique room. Hitaki Sakumo is sitting opposite Sarutobi Hiruzen, drinking tea. Hangguang. After all, he is still too young, it is inevitable. Adults don't need to be too concerned. The pale Hitaki Sakumo smiled lightly, he will grow up eventually. HMPH. Sarutobi Hiruzen hummed and shook his head as if helplessly. I hope he can mature sooner, I won't waste me. Report. An Anbu ninja appeared out of thin air in the room, knelt down on one knee and said, Report Lord Hokage, Han Guang will take the initiative to fight Huan Feng. Huh, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes widened suddenly, and his anger suddenly appeared, this arrogant brat. Chapter 0243_Shadow Flash. Shadow Flash. The square gradually became silent, and more than 100 pairs of eyes stared at the two figures above the square. The atmosphere gradually condensed, as if the air was about to freeze. Lu Han still stood with his hands behind his back. He had already seen the level of Uchiha Bai. The two sides were about to learn from each other. Uchiha Bai's orange name was temporarily changed to Yuhi. Konoha Anbu Squad Leader, Level 50 Elite, Uchiha White Knight. Level 50. Uchiha White Knight has reached level 50. Not surprising, because Sarutobi Hiruzen had fruit. Uchiha Bai's strength is not much weaker than the Ma'ankora who uses the double sword flounder. It is true, and in fact, if the Ma'ankora did not have the double sword flounder, it is very likely that it is not the opponent of Uchiha Bai. The bonus of special ninja swords to strength is not a little bit. Why Sarutobi Hiruzen felt that Lu Han could not be the opponent of Uchiha Bai. There is no reason for him. It's just because in the competition for Captain Anbu's strength, it is not allowed to use special ninja tools like the double knife, flounder, or the sword of the giant. That's unfair. Whoever puts that kind of special ninja tools in their hands can immediately improve their strength. That is not a ninja tool that requires many years of practice before the master can control and exert his strength. If it is the latter, naturally it will not be banned. The Uchiha clan is not without powerful ninja tools. As long as Uchiha Bai is willing, it can be used on a temporary secondment, but in that case, both sides will use powerful ninja tools, and the nature of the strength contest will change. In comparison, after all, it is the fighting strength of the ninja itself. Not foreign objects. Lord Hangguang, where is your weapon? Uchiha Bai, who was staring at Lu Han, suddenly said, and at the same time, he slowly drew out his long knife. You'll see. Lu Han, who stood with his hands behind his back, said indifferently. He avoided Uchiha Bai's eyes and focused on Uchiha Bai's body. Lord Hangguang, you are really fearless. You talk too much. Then I'm welcome. Please. Boom. The dull collision sounded, Uchiha Bai stomped hard, and the whole person rushed out as fast as a leopard, and approached Lu Han with a fierce breath like a mountain. The ground paved with special rocks was shaken violently by being trampled on by a huge force. But not broken. In an instant, the hearts of everyone around the venue were lifted. The knife shines like a rainbow. Uchiha Bai approached Lu Han and slashed at Lu Han's shoulder. Lu Han jumped up quickly. Jumping into the air more than 20 meters, not far from the top of the square, Uchiha Bai immediately jumped up, faster. More aggressive. Kai, 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 kai. The thunder-like sound of breaking through the air appeared one after another, as if it was about to pierce the eardrums of people. Lu Hanren was in the air and threw out several black rays of light directly attacking Uchiha Bai. Uchiha Bai, who was approaching Lu Han, swung his sword one after another. Dang dang dang, several times, the kuwu thrown out by Lu Han slashed one after another with great force, and the other hand waved at the same time. The kuwu and the shuriken totaled more than 10, all of them blasted towards Lu Han. The hidden weapon attack that Uchiha Gumu used to attack Lu Han. Kunai hits a straight line, and the shuriken attacks in an arc on both sides. Ultra-difficult hidden weapon skills. Lu Han had tried to practice before, but he was not a master. Uchiha Bai's hidden weapon attack almost blocked the possibility of Lu Han's escape. Lu Han is still rising in the air. It was difficult to change the direction, but Uchiha Bai's hidden weapon attack had already blocked Lu Han's way to escape down, left, and right. More importantly, Lu Han didn't even take out his knife. This kind of care has already sent him to the brink of death. Everything is complicated, but it actually happened in a very short time. Lord Cold Light. Be careful. Many elite jonin around the venue have already exclaimed, and their faces are horrified. If this kills Lord Hangguang, no one can take the responsibility. Lu Han did not rely on his strength to establish his authority in Anbu, but his mission ability. All Anbu ninjas understand the importance of Lu Han. Secret technique, shadow flash technique. Lu Han, who was in the air, squinted his eyes and disappeared in an instant. Uchiha Baiyi's eyes widened, because his three-tomo Sharingan with strong pupils vaguely captured Lu Han's movement trajectory. Curve. Lu Han actually walked out of the arc while moving at a high speed in an instant. Dodge all hidden weapon attacks. The art of shadow flash. How can the art of shadow flash turn around? The question was like lightning flashing through Uchiha Baiyi's mind. Lu Han suddenly appeared in front of Uchiha Baiyi. His right-hand Rasengan was already condensed, and he slapped Uchiha Baiyi's abdomen with a bang. Call. Uchiha Baiyi disappeared in front of Lu Han in an instant. The same breath, the same chakra fluctuations, he will also have shadow flash. This is the root technique. In fact, the root belongs to Anbu, and this technique also exists in Anbu's treasury, but only those at the level of squad leader can consult and practice. Uchiha Baiyi appeared dozens of meters away the moment he disappeared. Lu Han's Rasengan shot in the air, but he disappeared again. The Sharingan of Uchiha White Knight has caught it again. Lu Han is here. Again. It's still shadow flash. Twice. Twice. Why is it twice? How can he cast it twice in a row? Uchiha Baiyi's heart roared. His hands were not ambiguous. Almost after Lu Han disappeared again, he threw out Kuu and Shuriken, trying to hinder Lu Han's approach. Lu Han's curve moves. Appearing in front of Uchiha Baiyi again, it was still Rasengan. The knife shines. Uchiha Baiyi is tricky. Straight to stab Lu Han's elbow. Depending on the situation, his knife will pierce Lu Han's arm before Rasengan hits him. Lu Han showed a mysterious smile. The Sharingan that turns at high speed in the White Knight of Uchiha caught it. Call. Whoa. Lu Han disappeared in front of Uchiha Baiyi. He circled around Uchiha Baiyi like a ghost for half a circle, and appeared behind Uchiha Baiyi. The hair on Uchiha Baiyi's whole body has risen, and he turns his knife to his back. Slap. Boom. Uchiha Baiyi was blasted away like a cannonball. Didn't fully slap Rasengan's power on Uchiha Baiyi's back, turned around again, smashed his arm down, and Rasengan hit the ground. The power exploded completely, but listening to the sound of boom, at the same time as the loud noise, the venue collapsed. Chapter 0244-Shadow Flash 2. Naturally, Lu Han would not kill Uchiha Baiyi. This guy only changed his name to Yuhi during the competition. He had always been named Orange before, indicating that he had no malice towards Lu Han. So he kept his hand. After Rasengan smashed Uchiha Baiyi's longsword, Rasengan's strength only touched Uchiha Baiyi's back a little, and Lu Han instantly raised his arm back. But because of Rasengan's previous collision with the long knife that was easily shattered, the power of Rasengan's internal rotation has been unbalanced. Lu Han could not let Rasengan's power dissipate, and it was impossible for Rasengan to explode in his own hands. On the ground, the entire cave square was shocked. The extremely solid ground made of special rocks was smashed into a big pit. Master Wanfang. Phantom Front. On the north side of the sparring arena, several elite Jonin exclaimed one after another. Uchiha Baiyi flew in their direction. One of the elite Jonin reacted the fastest, and rushed out in an instant. When Uchiha Baiyi just flew out of the sparring area, he Rinkong hugged Uchiha Baiyi, then rolled over to the ground. PFF'd. Uchiha Baiyi spat a mouthful of blood on the ground. Medical Ninja. Medical Ninja, hurry. Some confusion. Huan Feng did not faint. Although he vomited blood, the injury was not too serious. Chakra itself could protect his body, and Lu Han stopped at the critical moment. Was not the first day that Lu Han became Master Rasengan. He also knew Akatsuki's original work and knew how to improve Rasengan. At this time, the Rasengan he could display was no longer the same as the original one, and the control of Rasengan's power was also more refined. Medical Ninja quickly checked the injury of Uchiha Bai, and immediately explained to the elite Jonin around him that there was no danger to his life, but the injury looked scary. Luhan used his skill to knock Uchiha Bai away. If you don't use skill, even if you pull back, it's very likely that Uchiha Bai's back will be broken. On the training ground, Luhan, who smashed the ground out of the big hole, kept the action of Rasengan smashing the ground. His face was as usual. He slowly raised his hand, slowly stood up straight, and flicked his fingers to dust off the dust on his collar, turning to look in the direction of Uchiha Bai. The cave square has returned to silence again, and a pair of eyes staring at Luhan, disbelief, shock and fear, excited admiration. All kinds of eyes, to name a few. Uchiha Bai was holding the ground with one hand, and the medical ninja was behind him. He was using medical ninjutsu to heal his injuries. He looked up at the competition venue, and his eyes were fixed on the indifferent Luhan. The two looked at each other. Luhan watched Uchiha Bai's name change from Yuhi to Orange, and his heart dropped. "Be calm in the future," Luhan said calmly, then pinched the seal with one hand and disappeared on the sparring arena. The next moment, he appeared near the entrance of the passage and walked in. Uchiha Bai turned his head to look again, his eyes chasing after Luhan's back. The corners of his mouth were trembling, and blood was still dripping down. He suddenly said, "Hangguang. Lord Hangguang." Then, the blinking. "What is it?" Luhan, who was just about to enter the passage leading to the command room, stopped, paused for a moment, and said, "Shadow Flash. Second stage. The difficulty of cultivation is grade A, I developed it," Luhan said and turned around suddenly, looking at to Uchiha Bai. "Want to learn? I'll teach you. You can come and find it." After saying that, Luhan strode away. Disappeared in the darkness on the inside of the passage. Shadow Flash is a Class B secret technique. Although it's only AB grade. However, the difficulty of practice in the instant body technique is actually close to A level. But from a practical point of view, it is not too high. Even the ninja at the root can learn the skills. In Anbu, only the team leader level can learn it. It must be understood that the person who can become a team leader in Anbu is at least an elite Jonin. They move very fast, so why bother to learn a shadow flash technique that can only blink once at a high speed? As far as the elite Jonin's reaction is concerned, even if the opponent suddenly appears in front of him using the shadow flash technique, the elite Jonin will definitely be able to react. The shadow flash technique can only walk in a straight line, and the terrain is a little more complicated, and it is even more impossible to use it to escape. Therefore, this technique still has high value for ordinary Jonin, but it is not of high value for Anbu squad leader. Very few Anbu squad leaders spend months or even a year or two learning this art. Uchiha Bai is an exception. Luhan also doesn't know when Uchiha Bai mastered the shadow flash technique, and it doesn't matter, he just needs to know that Uchiha Bai has this talent. Han, who will be able to master Haraishin soon, it doesn't matter whether the second stage of the shadow flash technique, which has just been developed, is passed on. The Uchiha ninja is very different, which is probably why he was selected for Anbu. Shortly after Luhan left the cave plaza, the plaza was completely blown up, talking about the second stage of the shadow flash technique, about Luhan, about Uchiha Bai. Luhan shocked them, and they also agreed with them. After analyzing the extremely short battle before, analyzing the tactics used by Luhan, the conclusion is that the key to victory is Luhan jumping up the first time. Luhan jumped, and Uchiha Bai followed along. So he lost. When others are in the air, facing Luhan's first shadow flash, people have nowhere to exert their strength in the air, and can only use their own shadow flash, and then face Luhan's second shadow flash approaching, because Luhan has already let Luhan's shadow flash close. Han took the initiative, and Luhan held the rhythm. Even if his reaction was extremely timely, he couldn't avoid Luhan's attack from behind him. In fact, if Uchiha Bai hadn't jumped with Luhan at the beginning, he wouldn't have lost so quickly, so simply. But no if. "Where's Han Guangren?" An angry voice suddenly sounded. The square was silent for a while, and everyone looked at it at the same time, and then fell to their knees. Lord Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen is here. Hatake Tsukumo is by his side. The two of them appeared at the entrance of the passage to and from the Anbu station at an unknown time. Chapter 0245_really ignorant. What just happened? Hatake Tsukumo suddenly narrowed his eyes and glanced at the cave square. He saw an anomaly, a very big anomaly. That's because there are too many people in the cave square. He knew very well that so many ninjas should not gather in the cave square at this time. Go back to Lord Hokage, Captain White Fang. Jonin, who was closest to the entrance, raised his head and said, just now, Captain Hangguang and Lord Wanfang were here to learn from each other. What a nonsense. Sarutobi Hiruzen was even more annoyed. Anbu ninjas in the cave square were all silent, and Hokage was angry and scared. Lord, look over there. Hatake Tsukumo suddenly tilted his head and said in a low voice. Huh. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Hatake Tsukumo and immediately looked away. The cave plaza is huge, and Sarutobi Hiruzen can see from a distance a large pit on the sparring field, more than half a meter deep, more than 10 meters in diameter, full of cracks, as if the ground is sinking. Go and see, Sarutobi Hiruzen said, and disappeared together with Hatake Tsukumo. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hatake Tsukumo appeared out of thin air next to the big pit of the competition venue. At least some kind of A-level non-attribute ninjutsu attack. There is blood. The two said in succession that Sarutobi Hiruzen's judgment was accurate, while Hatake Tsukumo's observation was amazing. When Uchiha Bai was shot and flew out, the blood spilled from the wound on his back was not much, just some small blood droplets, but Hatake Tsukumo also observed. Arrive. They're done fighting. Hatake Tsukumo frowned again. Too soon, how long? The cold light is so unbearable. Lost so soon. Who was injured? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked suddenly. It's Lord Wanfang. Master Wanfang. Many ninjas around responded, and their voices were a bit chaotic. Oh, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked slightly stunned. Mas, come here. Hatake Tsukumo suddenly raised his hand and motioned for a middle-aged ninja in the distance to come to his side. The female ninja code-named Mas was a medical jonin. Lord Hokage, Captain. Mars quickly walked over to Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hatake Tsukumo, greeting him respectfully. Tell me what happened just now. Hatake Tsukumo said. In the dimly lit cave room, Luhan sat cross-legged on the futon, eyes closed, breathing fast and slow. Behind Luhan, Hyuga Luo Ning knelt down and pressed Luhan's shoulders with a pair of small hands, kneading back and forth. If this scene were seen by the ninjas of the Hyuga family, they would definitely swallow Lu Hansheng alive, and dare to let the eldest Hyuga family do such a thing. In fact, as Luhan, he has no right to ask Hyuga Luo Ning to do so, but he did so, and Hyuga Luo Ning did not object. Lord Hangguang, you, just so handsome. Hyuga Luo Ning said in a low voice, pursing her lips again, a little embarrassed, but the corners of her mouth were upturned, and she seemed a little happy. Well, I'm already handsome. Adore me. Luhan closed his eyes and replied rather narcissistically. Call. Two breaths suddenly appeared in the room. Luhan reacted instantly. Kulu threw out his backhand from his sleeve and held it, and looked back quickly at the same time. Hyuga Luo Ning was stunned for a moment, but she didn't react at all, and turned her head to look at Luhan's eyes subconsciously. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hatake Tsukumo stood in tandem at the door. Luhan immediately let go of his vigilance. The reason why he reacted like that just now was because he knew that this cave room was sealed, whether it was the wall or the door. Except him, it was difficult for others to use the instant body directly. The technique came in and out, but suddenly someone came in. Hatake Tsukumo looked at the situation in the room with a slightly strange expression on his face. Luhan and Hyuga Luo Ning stood up together and greeted, Master Hokage. Master White Fang. That, Luhan explained again, his face a little embarrassed. I was a little tired, so I asked her to press for me, don't misunderstand. Don't. Luhan just didn't want Hyuga Luoning to be misunderstood. What? After all, she's a girl, and she became the deputy captain's entourage when she first joined Anbu, which has already attracted some criticism, so he explained, but he took the initiative to say. But he wanted to hide it. You'll enjoy it. Sarutobi Hiruzen hummed badly. Go out. Hataki Sakumo tilted his head at Hyuga Luoning. Hyuga Luoning walked away quickly. The door was closed again, and Luhan had invited the two to sit down at the side table in the room. You little bastard. It's really worrying. Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to be very upset with Luhan, but judging from his expression, he didn't seem to have much to blame for Luhan, you know it. If you lose in the competition, what are the consequences? I won't lose. Humph. Arrogance. Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to be out of breath and had a bad face towards Luhan. Luhan was a little stunned. What? Didn't you win? Can't you win? Cough. Hataki Sakumo let out a light cough and asked seriously, Hengwang, when did you master the shadow flash technique? When did you develop the second stage? Why didn't you inform Lord Hokage in time? Worry. I'm really ignorant. After saying that, Hataki Sakumo gave Luhan a wink. Luhan was suddenly stunned. Sarutobi Hiruzen is angry because of this. Shadow flash art. Now, it should be master, a month ago. Luhan began to tell the story again. It was less than 2 months since he returned to Konoha. To be honest, I can't make up stories. After I came back, because I quickly became the acting captain and had the opportunity to come into contact with the technique of shadow flash, I tried to practice. When was the second stage developed? Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help asking. That's the point. The shadow flash technique doesn't have much value, but the second stage is completely different. It was 3 days ago. This time Luhan was telling the truth. 3 days ago, when I practiced Horaishin, I had an epiphany. Although I couldn't master Horaishin yet, I used some ideas in the shadow flash technique and developed a section 2. Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted and pondered, suddenly glanced at Hataki Sakumo, then looked at Luhan and said, very good. Very good. I decide now. Let you go to the country of Vortex, White Fang stay behind. When? Luhan was shocked. Chapter 0246_Captain's Successor. I guess. Sarutobi Hiruzen dragged a long note and looked at Hataki Sakumo again. My injury can be completely healed in as little as half a month or as long as 20 days. Hataki Sakumo followed. Actually, now my injury has mostly recovered, and in 10 days at most, the injury will recover 9 times. Chengju, there is still that part of the injury. Since it is a dark wound that cannot be directly treated with medical ninjutsu, I can only wait for it to heal itself. This injury has little effect on me, unless it is a battle of life and death. Except for the battle of life and death, ordinary battles will not affect my strength. Well, that's it. Sarutobi Hiruzen replied, looking at Luhan. You can hand over all Anbu things to White Fang in the near future, and in 10 days at most, you will leave for the country of Vortex. So, then, if before I leave, Tsunade, Sensei and the others are out of danger, you go too. I'll give you a mission. Okay. Luhan nodded, full of anticipation. In Konoha too, Luhan wanted to go out for a long time, but recently he has been busy with affairs. This time, I have the opportunity to go to the country of Vortex in the chaos of war. For Luhan, the meaning of growth is more than the so-called task. There are wild monsters everywhere, and there are super advanced bosses like the 7 people of the Mist Ninja Sword. Luhan is here to hone. The strength will definitely grow again. Horaishin has not been able to complete the cultivation, and he will be in danger when the time comes. There is enough external pressure. Maybe there will be a breakthrough. In the following time, Luhan had a detailed talk with Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hataki Sakumo. In addition to the recent affairs, Luhan also talked about the second stage of the shadow flash technique in detail. He didn't tell any lies in this regard. He was inspired by the practice of Horaishin and developed the second stage of shadow flash. Of shadow flash technique, the difficulty of practice is A, and 2 spells can be marked on the arm. Every time a spell is triggered, Shadow Flash can be activated, which is different from the previous basic Shadow Flash technique. Reaching 2 section, the most important change is that you can turn. You can move in a curve, or even pause for a short time, and then make the final curve move. In terms of effect, the second stage of Shadow Flash already has the meaning of Horizon. But compared to Horizon, it's still too far. But it also improved the strength of Lu Han, who is not yet Master Horizon at this time. In fact, from a certain point of view, the second stage of Shadow Flash has an advantage over Horizon. The small advantage is that it can lure the enemy, cause the enemy to make wrong judgments. Horizon is a space-type blinking technique, and there is no trace to be found, while the Shadow Flash technique has traces to follow. If you fight a ninja with extraordinary eyesight, because the opponent can capture the Shadow Flash movement trajectory, and respond accordingly, so that the technique of Shadow Flash was launched again and was caught off guard. Sarutobi Hiruzen left the Anbu station only at dusk. Back mountain forest, with lush vegetation, tall trees next to each other, and the huge canopy connected to cover the sky. When the sky is full of euhexia, the light in the forest is extremely dim. Sarutobi Hiruzen appeared out of thin air, and then a whirlwind rolled up around him, followed by a black-robed masked ninja. Lord Hokage. The ninja knelt down and continued, Lord Danzo has been waiting at your residence for a long time. Sarutobi Hiruzen responded with a nasal voice indifferently, then turned around and disappeared again. The quaint room, the mouth of the teapot was steaming white. Danzo sat cross-legged in front of the square table, sipping tea expressionlessly. This was the third pot of tea he drank. Call. Sarutobi Hiruzen appeared out of nowhere in the room. Danzo hurriedly put down the teacup and was about to get up. Sit down. Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hand, indicating that Danzo should not be too polite. At the same time, he stepped forward 2 steps on the wooden floor and sat cross-legged opposite Danzo. Danzo immediately picked up an empty cup from the tea tray on the wooden table and placed it in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen, took the teapot in the other hand, and poured Sarutobi Hiruzen a cup of tea. Wait for me so long, what happened? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked while holding the teacup. Han Guang defeated Huan Feng with just a few tricks in the competition. You plan to, Danzo said slowly. You already know. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Danzo. Danzo nodded. Anbu's station a few hours ago, although it was impossible for others in Konoha to know Akatsuki, Danzo was Hokage's assistant, the leader of the route, and belonged to Anbu at all, and some non-combat members served Anbu. Also serves the route. The 2 sides are inseparably linked, so it is impossible for him not to get the news. After all, it is completely open in Anbu, and the discussion conducted in front of all eyes does not have confidentiality in itself. Hanguu, always surprising, Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a faint smile, took a sip from the teacup. Danzo could feel that Sarutobi Hiruzen was in a good mood. He lowered his head slightly and held the teacup with his hands. I have already planned to send him to the land of Vortex. Sarutobi Hiruzen continued. It is estimated that within 10 days, I will have to wait for White Fang to recover from his injuries and be able to take full control of Anbu's affairs. At that time, I will add the position of Anbu's deputy captain. Let him do it. Deputy captain, Danzo muttered, raised the teacup, but paused, looking up at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Are you planning to train him to be the successor of the captaincy? Sarutobi Hiruzen admitted directly, and there was nothing to hide. He just wanted to train Lu Han to become the future captain of Anbu. Unlike the captain's assistant, the captain's assistant handles chores. It can be said to be the manager of daily affairs, or it can be said to be a consultant, and is in charge of Anbu's financial affairs, which is of 2 natures from the role of captain. Anbu has been established for more than 20 years, and there is no example of the captain's assistance in direct promotion to the captain. But the vice captain is different. The nature of the job is exactly the same as that of the captain. It's just that the power level is lower than the captain. If the post of vice captain is added, if after that, Captain Anbu dies in battle, or abdicates and calls out Anbu, then the vice captain will basically take over the post of captain directly. No need to compete with anyone anymore. If, let him go to the country of the vortex as the deputy captain of Anbu, then let me send some ninjas to go with me, how about that? Danzo's eyes flashed a strange light, and he took a sip of tea after speaking. Only then did he look up at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Chapter 0247 hand over the second stage of Shadow Flash. Let the roots go to the country of Vortex. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned instantly. Roots are the big killer of Konoha. Although there are very few people, all of them are humanoid weapons that are not afraid of death and have received cruel training. It took years to develop. A lot of resources have been put into this. But it's just the war in the country of the Vortex, and in the whole ninja world, it's just a regional war, which sends the root. Just a part, enough to keep him safe with his life at a critical moment. Danzo explained, the situation in the country of Vortex is very chaotic. If Hangguang goes to the country of Vortex alone, it is too dangerous. Even Tsunade and the others have encountered a life and death crisis. He went. If there is an accident, the loss will be too great. Quote. Hangguang is still young after all, and his talent is too evil. Even more than Tsunade and the others. Maybe he will be the one who can decide the course of history in the future. In any case, his safety should be ensured. Danzo said with a tone of complete consideration for Konoha. Well, that's right. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. He could understand what Danzo was thinking, and Danzo's loyalty to Konoha was unquestionable. The 7 ninja blades of mist, it's really troublesome. He heard Danzo say again, Kurigakure wants to occupy the country of the Vortex, and Mizukage's plan for this is not a day or two, he is determined to win. That's why he sent the Mizuki. There are 7 ninja swordsmen, such a powerful ninja team participates in the frontal war in the country of Vortex. But what we really need to be cautious about is the situation in the country of Rain. We can't devote too much energy to take care of the country of Vortex. Danzo explains why Konoha didn't send a more powerful ninja squad to the country of the Vortex to take out the 7 of the ninja blades of the mist. This is a matter of mobilizing the whole body. With the country of Rain as the center, Sunagakure village of the country of Wind, Iwagakure village of the country of Earth, Omegakure village of the country of Rain, and Konoha of the country of Fire, the forces of the 4 sides check and balance each other and wrestle with each other. Therefore, it is impossible for Konoha to put his real contribution in the country of Vortex, and he cannot afford it with Kurigakure, the country of Water. Kurigakure village is located overseas, and there are no enemies around. It is not easy for them to send troops, and it is even more difficult for others to beat them. It can even be said that they have no scruples. Danzo's subtext is naturally, since he can't send someone to kill the 7 people of the Mist Ninja Sword. It is bound to be dangerous for Hangguang to go to the country of Vortex. Because Lu Han had killed 2 members of the 7 of the Ninja Blade of Mist before, he was already a thorn in the other side's side. If traces are found in the country of the Vortex, the 7 people of the Mist Ninja Sword may even be decapitated. Sarutobi Hiruzen pondered for a long time. He picked up the teacup, took a sip of tea and put it down. When he picked up the teacup again, he just looked at Danzo and asked, how many people do you plan to send to the country of Vortex? No more than 10 people. Danzo continued, enough. Even in the face of the 7 people of the Ninja Blade of the Mist, they have the strength to desperately hold the group of 7 people of the Ninja Blade of the Mist for a short period of time, giving Hangguang a chance to escape. Okay. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally nodded after thinking about it again and again, then do as you said. When Hangguang leaves for the country of the Vortex, you will send someone to follow him. I'll make arrangements later, Danzo said immediately, picked up the teapot again, reached out to fill Sarutobi Hiruzen's teacup, paused and said, there is one more thing. There's nothing I can't say, just say it. Sarutobi Hiruzen felt Danzo's hesitation. Hangguang developed the second stage of Shadow Flash, right? Yes. Listening to him, he was inspired by the practice of Hiraishin. The difficulty of the second stage of practice has reached a level. If it is used skillfully, it is really a powerful technique. Cold Light is a genius. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, showing a faint tone laugh. Well, you also know that the shadow flash technique was created by me more than 10 years ago, and then it was handed over to all the root ninjas to practice. It was only put into the Anbu treasure house a few years ago. Danzo paused for a while, his eyes flashed. I also tried to develop the second stage of shadow flash, but it didn't work. It's just a different way of thinking. If I don't let him practice Hiraishin, he won't be inspired either. Yes. In fact, what I mean is that this technique belongs to the root. Since he developed the second stage, should he be asked to hand over the cultivation method of the second stage? My root ninja almost masters the shadow flash technique. If you can learn the second stage, your strength will definitely be greatly improved. Quote. Let him hand over the method of cultivation. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned immediately. I'm afraid. If I order him to hand over the techniques that he developed by himself, it's not impossible, but he must be uncomfortable, or even resentful, if he does this. I'm not forcing it, I'm just stating my thoughts. Danzo said. He understood Sarutobi Hiruzen's hesitation. Generally speaking, even Hokage can't force Konoha ninjas to hand over their own art. It's like Hokage can't take money from any Konoha ninja. In other words, there are many Konoha clans, almost all of them have handed down techniques, Uchiha's Kaden fire-style ninjutsu, the Hitaki clan's swordsmanship. Can you force them to hand over? Of course not. It's one thing to take the initiative to contribute to the village, but to be forced to hand it over. The nature has changed. Chilling practice. I can talk to him. Sarutobi Hiruzen said after thinking for a while. If he is asked to hand over the cultivation method of the second stage of shadow flash for no reason. Definitely not. If you want, you can exchange it with him. Exchange for something of value. Whether it is a ninja tool or a technique. Of course, if you can persuade you to teach it to you voluntarily, it will be even better. Quote. I still need something to exchange. Danzo murmured in a low voice. He has been more deeply aware of the weight of the cold light in Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't even mean to put pressure on Luhan. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye, it was already 3 days later. Antique room. Luhan hurriedly entered the door, saw Sarutobi Hiruzen sitting cross-legged on the wooden floor. Danzo stood by, and respectfully greeted, Lord Hokage. You are looking for me. Luhan ignored Danzo. Well, there is one thing. Sarutobi Hiruzen quickly explained the situation, which was about Danzo's desire to practice the second stage of Shadow Flash. Hangguang, are you willing to contribute to the second rank of Shadow Flash? Konoha treats you well, I think you will not be stingy, right? Danzo said seriously. Chapter 0248-Mystery. Ninjutsu. Demonic Illusion. Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately glanced at Danzo. Danzo said, although he may directly ask for the second stage of Shadow Flash, it will definitely make Hangguang feel uncomfortable. Hearing Danzo's words, Luhan frowned slightly. Not stingy. Contribute. Donate your uncle. The so-called moral kidnapping is nothing more than that. Danzo is right, Konoha treats Luhan well, but Luhan owes nothing to Konoha either. In fact, if it was someone else, if it was Sarutobi Hiruzen, who asked Luhan to hand over the cultivation method of the second stage of Shadow Flash to the village, Luhan would agree, but Danzo came to ask for it directly. No. Lord Danzo is right. Konoha really treats me well, and I shouldn't put the blame on it. Luhan said calmly, but his voice changed as soon as he finished speaking, looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen, but the art that came out. Inevitably, I don't know, is this what Hokage-sama meant? See what Sarutobi Hiruzen has to say. Luhan can also judge his own weight in Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart based on this. You decide for yourself. After all, that is the art you developed. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Luhan's heart is determined. Since that's the case, Luhan looked at Danzo again, the corners of his mouth turned up slightly. Lord Danzo, please forgive me. You. Danzo's face darkened, his eyes seemed to reprimand Luhan, but he held back. He couldn't say it, because Sarutobi Hiruzen has just made a statement. Hokage said that Luhan made his own decision. Why did Danzo let Luhan hand it over for nothing? It's a fact that his status is lower than Sarutobi Hiruzen. It's better to make an exchange. But Sarutobi Hiruzen said, helping to make peace, the art developed by Hangguang is handed over for nothing. There is no such reason, so. Danzo, do you have something suitable? If you really want to practice the second stage of Shadow Flash, you should show your sincerity. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Luhan with a black face. Since Lord Hokage has spoken, then. Luhan looked at Danzo again. Lord Danzo, what would you exchange for me? Danzo is ready. He thought about it for 3 days before deciding. It was impossible to prepare in advance. And he just wanted it directly, but he just tried it. What if he could come directly? Art. I'll exchange it with you with a grade A secret technique. Danzo said directly. What technique? Luhan became interested. Secret art. No trace lock art. Danzo said in his mouth. Quickly hand seal. Chakra surged on both hands, and then slapped one hand on the teapot on the table next to him, and the teapot was marked with a black complex art. Then, it was like nothing. What's the use? Luhan asked again. 1,000 miles of induction. Danzo explained, the caster can sense the spell, within 1,000 miles, there is a sense, and it can be traced. The spell can only be printed on dead objects, including ninja tools, and can only be used with one person at a time. The technique produces induction, and it is useless to fight. This is an auxiliary secret technique that I created when I was young. If used skillfully, it can silently leave the technique on the enemy's clothing or ninja gear, and track the enemy after the second escape. This technique. Luhan's eyes lit up. Good technique. Not to mention other things, the 1,000-mile induction can be called powerful. In fact, Luhan understands that the no-trace lock technique is more suitable for use on his own people. For example, if he wants to protect someone, he can hit the technique on the personal belongings of the protected target and tell him not to lose it, so he doesn't have to worry about it. Instead of going away, there is no worry that it will disappear. And what Danzo said, using it on the enemy, is a bit nonsense. Very low success. Is the enemy blind, so can't see the big magic spell? Even if you don't notice it, you will always feel the chakra fluctuations on it, right? How is it? Danzo said again after seeing Luhan thinking. I will teach you this technique. How about you give me the cultivation method of the second stage of Shadow Flash? No, this technique has no practical value. It can't compare to the second stage of Shadow Flash. Luhan refused. In fact, he was very moved, but he refused very simply. Since you are not satisfied, then. Danzo was mentally prepared. The no-trace lock technique is indeed not as valuable as the second stage of Shadow Flash, and even said, multiple shadow clone technique. How? You should know what this technique is. The A-level forbidden technique developed by my teacher, Hokage Senju Tobarama, the second generation. No, this definitely won't work. Luhan squinted slightly. Surely not. Danzo asked back. Multiple shadow clone is Konoha's technique, not your technique. I can learn this technique in other ways in the future. You can use Konoha's technique in exchange for my own technique. Luhan finally asked back. Danzo was silent. Indeed, it was inappropriate to use Konoha's technique for Hangguang's original technique. Futon, Wind Style, Feng Dui Wen. Danzo raised his hand to hand seal again. The extremely complicated seal took him a full second to complete, then disappeared in place, and appeared continuously in the room. Quick. Very fast. The location is uncertain. After 9 consecutive flashes, he reappeared in the first position. This technique. Luhan's eyes lit up again. It turned out to be an instant body technique. A-level instant body technique. Futon, wind style, wind bounce. Danzo looked at Lu Han's expressionless face. This technique was created 5 years after I created the shadow flash technique, before I created Futon, wind style, shunshu. It's also the strongest shunshu that I created. Although it's not as instant as your shadow flash second stage, the short distance movement is more flexible, more frequent, and can be moved up to 9 times. If the enemy can't get out of the moving range of the wind and flash in time, they will be in danger. It is difficult to guard against, so in general, the value of this technique is not lower than your second rank of shadow flash. Good technique. Lu Han nodded. Change. Don't change. Little devil, you. Danzo was instantly angry, but Sarutobi Hiruzen was on the side. He could only suppress his anger. The flesh on his cheeks trembled a little, glared at Lu Han and said solemnly, "Don't be too greedy." Lu Han looked at Danzo calmly and didn't speak. "Just don't change with you. What can you do? You bite me." Lu Han is very fearless. He will not easily satisfy Danzo's wish. Good. Very good. Very good. Danzo laughed angrily, bit Kiba, raised his hand-to-hand seal again, and finished quickly, Hengguang. This time you should be satisfied. Call. In Lu Han's eyes, Danzo disappeared. Demonic illusion. Lu Han was taken aback. Chapter-241-260 The Fantasy of Samek. In Lu Han's eyes, Danzo disappeared, replaced by pieces of withered and yellow leaves. All Lu Han could see were fallen leaves. There are so many are enough to affect people's sight, as if autumn is coming. The strong wind blows the towering ancient trees, the branches are rustling, the withered and yellow leaves are falling like rain, and Lu Han is standing under the tree. The feeling of desolation filled Lu Han's heart. Demonic illusion. Not only can it create an illusion, but it can also affect people's emotions. Although this level of influence does not have much effect, in a high-paced battle, as long as there is a momentary trance because of demonic illusion, it may be fatal. Wow! The fallen leaves scattered, dissipated into the invisible, and the long tree fell. Sarutobi Hiruzen was still sitting there, and Danzo was no longer by his side. Demonic illusion. Shimoko's illusion. Danzo's voice sounded behind Lu Han. Lu Han's heart trembled. Danzo was behind him at some point. He spoke. Danzo walked around to Lu Han again and stood in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen with a blank face. The difficulty of cultivation is S grade. It took me 11 years to complete this technique intermittently, although this is not of the technique I created, but I can assure you that no one else can do this technique except me. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Danzo, a strange color flashed in his eyes. Samoki's illusion. Lu Han murmured, feeling a little excited. So strong. This demonic illusion is really strong. I don't recommend you change this technique. Sarutobi Hiruzen said suddenly. He saw that Lu Han was very moved. Ah! Lu Han looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, Master Hokage. Why? Because this is a spell that Mangekyo Sharingan can activate. Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice sank, and then glanced at Danzo. His face flashed helplessly. Danzo, why do you make trouble for a junior? You know, he doesn't. It is possible to cultivate this technique. He's too greedy. Danzo said blankly. He made no secret of his unhappiness. Because he has a reason. Wait, what? What kind of magic can Mangekyo Sharingan activate? Lu Han asked with wide eyes, a little confused. Let me tell you. Danzo answered, looking at Lu Han. Do you know Uchiha Kagami? I heard. Lu Han nodded. He and Lord Hokage, Lord Danzo, were disciples of the second-generation Hokage Senju Tobarama, who died at the end of the last ninja war. Well, this is his technique. Danzo's eyes wandered, as if recalling the past. He is a real genius. He opened Mangekyo Sharingan in his 20s. But he died young. When he was alive, he created some demonic illusions. This Shimoko illusion is the strongest demonic illusion he has ever created. I'm talking about what he created, not what he had with Mangekyo Sharingan. This is the demonic illusion that he created after he started Mangekyo Sharingan. According to what he said, you must have Mangekyo pupil power to activate this technique. He used this demonic illusion to defeat me in the competition, and since then, I wanted the demonic illusion of master. I didn't give up until after he died, but I couldn't because I didn't have a Sharingan. But Danzo paused for a while, showing a proud smile, and said, I developed a weakened version of the Shimoko illusion. It took 11 years, and according to the chakra operation that a Jing told me, I can use this spell without Sharingan. The illusion of Shimoko launched by Mangekyo Sharingan, leaves falling in the sky. The caster will be everywhere, and the leaves are the caster. Wherever the leaves float, the caster will appear. My Shimoko illusion can't do this, it can only deceive the target's eyes, and can affect the target's 5 senses, so as to achieve the effect of approaching quietly and secretly. Compared with the real Shimoko Huan, this is much weaker, but that's only in relative terms. This technique, it's very strong. But you can't learn. As soon as Danzo finished speaking, Sarutobi Hiruzen followed. Lord Hokage. Luhan's face became strange. According to what Mr. Danzo said, since he can develop it, in terms of my talent, his situation is special. Sarutobi Hiruzen interrupted Luhan's words. He has done human experiments on himself, and apart from him, no one can create the weakened Shimoko illusion of master without Sharingan. In other words, only Uchiha ninjas can learn this art. So it is. Luhan nodded, and he understood in an instant. No wonder he was still confused just now. Danzo was so kind to take out the S-rank technique for the second rank Shadow Flash that only had A rank. It turned out to be a scammer. Danzo expected that Luhan would never be able to cultivate the illusion of Samek, so he took it out. Lord Hokage, this art really only requires the Uchiha clan to practice. How many tomo does it take? Without Sharingan, there is no chance at all. Luhan seemed to be very unwilling to ask, but in fact he was using a cliché. Without Sharingan, there is no chance. Generally speaking, maybe, at least 2 tomo. Sarutobi Hiruzen's tone was a little uncertain, and he turned his eyes to Danzo again. Now this is Danzo's art. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen knows this art, he doesn't know the details of the art. Double tomo is difficult. Danzo explained to Luhan. It's not impossible. If it is a double tomo with high pupil power, it is still possible to become a master. And if it is a triple tomo, even if it can be activated with low pupil power, the effect will not be effective. It will be too big. High pupil power. You can use Sharingan directly, no need for hand seal. Because in essence, this is Sharingan's art, but the effect is weakened a lot. Since Lord Hokage has already said it, then you don't think about it, you can't master this demonic illusion. Hangwang, don't be too greedy. Sarutobi Hiruzen said helplessly, it's just an exchange of practice methods, in fact, you won't have any loss. Lord Hokage said yes. Luhan responded quickly and looked at Danzo again. Since Lord Hokage said it, then I won't ask for anything more, Lord Danzo. I agree to exchange with you. Which one? All 3. Chapter 0250 The Pitted Danzo. Little devil, you are going too far. Danzo's furious hair fluttered, and he growled at Luhan, how dare you be so greedy? With just one A-level technique, you want to pay me back 3 techniques. Why can't you change it? Luhan asked back, and continued, although this is just an A-level technique, it is very effective. And your 3 techniques, if you talk about their value, Futon, Wind Style, Feng Shunlian, the value can be equivalent to my second rank of Shadow Flash, but you must understand. The value is only equivalent, why should I change it with you? Tim. Han Guang, you don't know how to advance or retreat. Danzo lowered his voice again and said gloomily. I don't know how to advance or retreat. Luhan said indifferently, if Mr. Danzo thinks what I said is wrong, you can try it. To exchange for the unique original art in the hands of other Konoha-jonin. You only take out the art of the same value, let's see if they are willing to change. Maybe some people can agree, but some people will definitely disagree, just like. Even if you come up with 10 A-level spells, I can't give you Rasengan's cultivation method. The value of original art not limited to its own utility, but also exclusivity. Quote. Danzo paused as soon as he shouted. Can't say anything. Because Lu Han was right. The uniqueness of ninjutsu is extremely important. Just like Rasengan, the power of Rasengan is not higher than that of other powerful Kaden, fire-style ninjutsu, and in terms of destructive power, it is not even as good as Grand Fireball, but the value of Rasengan is in A-level jutsu. Medium is also higher. Rasengan can be used in close combat, can be used without a hand seal, condensed in the palm of the hand, and can be contained but not released. These characteristics have created the value of Rasengan. How to deal with Rasengan is a difficult problem for most ninjas to solve. Rasengan is unique to Lu Han. If he spreads Rasengan out, other people will naturally be able to use Rasengan to deal with Rasengan, and Rasengan will not be so useful. That's the value of exclusivity. Lu Han looked at Danzo with an expression like I was going to cheat you. Even if it's an extra head, but you. Danzo bit Kiba and said, you actually want 2 A-level techniques, 1 S-level, and these 3 techniques are unique to me. You are a lion. Lord Danzo, have you lost your memory? Lu Han pretended to be surprised. Didn't I just say that I can't learn the illusion of Samik? It's S-class, but is it valuable to me? Then you still want it. I'm interested, I want to study it. It's Mr. Danzo, you have aroused your interest in the illusion of Shamoke. Let me study the illusion of Shamoke. Maybe it can bring me insights. Maybe demonic illusion is about to the art of spatial perception and control, and I'm currently practicing Horaishin. Need some inspiration. This won't affect the uniqueness of the Shimoko illusion, and Danzo-sama has nothing to lose. What Lu Han said was reasonable. Danzo was still black-faced, looking at Lu Han, as if he was going to eat people. It was only natural that he was angry, because Lu Han was indeed a little greedy. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Danzo, then looked at Lu Han, and said nothing. Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't mind Lu Han's greed, because Lu Han is his man. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo are close friends and confidants, but it is not limited to this. They have been competing since childhood, and until now, Sarutobi Hiruzen knows that Danzo has never given up his ambition to become Hokage. From this point of view, Danzo is a threat to Sarutobi Hiruzen, but Sarutobi Hiruzen is not the kind of person who wants to compete for the position of Hokage. He will kill each other. There are too many people who want to become Hokage in Konoha. How many ninjas were young? My dream is to become Hokage. Not bad for Danzo, and Danzo's loyalty to Konoha is beyond doubt. Sarutobi Hiruzen master as Anbu, and Danzo master as Anbu's root. Sarutobi Hiruzen is difficult to mobilize the root ninja, because those people are cultivated by Danzo, and their loyalty to Danzo is higher than that to Sarutobi Hiruzen. The two are not really monolithic. Therefore, Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally hopes that Lu Han will be stronger, because Lu Han is the real one. It can even be said that for him, Lu Han is the same as Hitaki Sakumo, who is a candidate for training into the future Hokage. So he kept watching Lu Han open up to Danzo Lion, and he didn't say peace, and he didn't need to take into account Danzo's feelings. The relationship between the two would not change because of this kind of thing. Okay, cold light. Danzo stared at Lu Han and finally said, since you insist on changing it like this. What? Lu Han asked calmly. He was really fearless and could not change his love. I'll change it with you. Use the secret technique, the untraceable lock technique, futon wind style, the wind blast, and the illusion of Shimoko. Change your shadow flash second. Danzo said solemnly, his eyes a gleam of gloom flashed in the depths. Okay, Master Danzo is refreshing. Lu Han smiled lightly, then. How to change it? You and I will go back and write the practice method on the scroll, and then hand it over to Lord Hokage as a witness and exchange it face to face. Danzo said coldly. Okay, that's it, I'll go back right away. Lu Han said and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen again. Lord Hokage, your subordinates will retire first. Humph. Danzo snorted coldly. turning around and disappearing into the room. He was expressing his dissatisfaction with Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Sarutobi Hiruzen did not help him to speak from the beginning to the end. In the dim grotto, the flames flickered. Danzo stood in front of the stone wall, and in front of him were 7 ninjas with icy black robe masks. The root ninja. Greedy little brat. Ha, you wouldn't have thought of that. Never. Danzo muttered with a low laugh, tilting his head to look at the stone platform aside. There were 3 scrolls on it, which recorded the scroll of the method of practice. Actually, Danzo doesn't mind giving Luhan the cultivation methods of the 3 techniques. Don't mind at all. Danzo is not worried that Luhan will master those 2 A-level techniques, because Luhan has already entered his trap. Listen to the order. Danzo suddenly shouted, I order you all to protect his safety during the mission with the cold light. Don't allow him to make any mistakes. Yes, Chiren said with a bang. Chapter 0251-7 Ninja. At dusk that day, Luhan and Danzo came to Sarutobi Hiruzen's residence one after another. Under the witness of Sarutobi Hiruzen, they completed the exchange. 1 A-level technique was exchanged for 2 A-level techniques and 1 S-level technique. Luhan took a big advantage. During the exchange, Danzo had a dark face from beginning to end. Even if Sarutobi Hiruzen told him, don't care about the juniors, just treat them as helping the juniors, Danzo's face didn't improve. Sarutobi Hiruzen could only sigh. Hangguang is about to go out to the country of the vortex, or go under the protection of the root ninja. During this period, Hangguang actually offended the leader of the root. Sarutobi Hiruzen just sighed a little, but was not worried that Danzo would let the root ninja hurt Hangguang, but was more relieved. First, Danzo would not hurt an important person like Hangguang because of such a trivial matter. Second, he writes anger on his face, and he is even less likely to hurt. Sarutobi Hiruzen knows Danzo's character. He really wants to hurt someone, or really wants someone to die. He will never let the other party feel it in advance. He is the kind of person who can laugh in front of people and stab him immediately after walking behind him. And if he doesn't want to hurt someone, he doesn't have any scruples in his heart, and if he should be angry, he will be angry, and he will not cover it up. If the two just had a conflict, Hangguang, who was protected by the root ninja, would have an accident in the country of Vortex, and Danzo would be the first to be suspected. Danzo's anger is not terrible, the terrible thing is that he hides his anger in his heart. Night, Anbu Station, dimly lit cave room. Luhan sat quietly in front of the stone wall with 3 scrolls on the ground in front of him. After a long time, he opened his eyes, took out a bottle of golden potion and took it, then picked up the S-level demonic illusion Shamokeji. The scroll of the magic practice method, open it and look. Luhan's comprehension ability is 10 times higher than before, and his thinking is extremely fast. It only took a few minutes to completely write down the practice method of Shamoke's illusion, and then he shook his hand and shattered the scroll into powder. Both Sarutobi Hiruzen and Danzo told Luhan many times that without Sharingan, it is impossible to cultivate the illusion of Samek. But Luhan has Sharingan. 3 Tomo Sharingan quickly appeared in Luhan's eyes. Luhan slowly put down his hands, put them on his knees, blinked his eyes, and slowly closed. After a long time, Luhan didn't move again, like a sculpture generally standing still. Time passes without knowing it. 3 hours later, strange chakra fluctuations rippled around Luhan's body, sometimes as fiery as flames, and sometimes as soft as flowing water. After another 3 hours, the chakra fluctuations on Luhan's body disappeared, and he had completed the transformation of the Shimoke illusion. The Shimoke illusion used by Danzo relies on the special circulation of the hand seal and the chakra in his body. It is impossible for other people to learn how to activate it. The Uchiha family with Sharingan can, but they must be transformed, integrating all the complicated processes before the demonic illusion is activated into Sharingan. It was late at night, and the cave room was still silent. Luhan suddenly opened his eyes and quickly hand seal. The clone appeared beside Lu Han's body. Lu Han stood up again, his eyes widened, and the three Tomo Sharingan spun rapidly. Demonic illusion, Shimoko's illusion. Whoa! In the eyes of the clone, the main body Lu Han has disappeared, and the entire room seems to disappear, only the withered yellow leaves are everywhere, falling like rain. It took 6 or 7 hours to become master. In total, this is equivalent to 3 days and 3 nights of continuous retreat in normal state, but unfortunately, it is much weaker than the real Shamo-K illusion, and I don't know if I open it. Mangekyo, can you activate the real Shimoko illusion? As Danzo said, there are 3 Tomo Sharingan with high pupil power, which can easily master the weakened version of the Shimoko illusion, and can be activated without a hand seal. Thinking about it, Lu Han scattered his avatars, sat down with his knees crossed, and picked up a scroll again. Futon Wind Style, Feng Shuniandan's practice method. The effect of this technique is very strong, but it is only an A-level technique. For Lu Han, who has the golden potion, master it doesn't take too long. For Lu Han today, it was just a preliminary attempt to practice cultivation. Before I knew it, it was dawn. Lu Han finished his practice of Futon Wind Style and Feng Shunliandan, and picked up the scroll that recorded the practice method of the secret technique and the no-trace lock technique. 4 days later, Anbu Station, Cave Square. More than 100 Anbu ninjas gathered in front of the stone platform, their expressions solemn and silent. On the stone platform, Sarutobi Hiruzen is standing in the middle, Hitaki Sakumo is looking good on the left, and Lu Han is on the right. 2 decisions announced. Sarutobi Hiruzen swept the eyes of the crowd below, and said solemnly, from now on, the position of acting captain will be cancelled, Han Guang will officially step down as acting captain, and White Fang will resume all responsibilities as Captain Anbu. Full control Anbu. Quote. Many people looked at Hitaki Sakumo, and some looked at Lu Han. The day has finally come. White Fang is back. Anbu Zhang Ren is not surprised. Second decision. From now on, Anbu will add a vice-captain position. The vice-captain has the right to rule Anbu, but the level of power is lower than that of the captain. Sarutobi Hiruzen continued, here is officially appointed, Han Guang is the vice-captain of Anbu. What? Deputy captain. There was a low voice from the audience, and soon it fell silent again. Everyone understands the meaning of the vice-captain position, which is a more valuable position than acting as a captain. The vice-captain. In the future, he can directly take over the position of captain without any need to compete with anyone. He is the only successor to the position of captain. Is there any objection? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked as usual. Silence. Okay, it's all gone. Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hand. The crowd dispersed. Lord Hokage, I'll go first. Hitaki Sakumo tilted his head and whispered to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded, and Hitaki Sakumo disappeared on the stone platform. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Lu Han were left on the stone platform. This is your mission. Sarutobi Hiruzen took out the scroll and handed it to Lu Han. Call. 8 whirlwinds rolled up at the same time, and Danzo and 7 root ninjas appeared in the audience at the same time. Before Lu Han could read the contents of the scroll, he raised his eyes to look down the stage, and his heart was stunned. Danzo, Yuhi name. The Root 7 endures, green name. Chapter-241-260 mark. Master Hokage, you are ready to leave at any time. Danzo said respectfully to Sarutobi Hiruzen, then turned his head and glanced at Lu Han regretfully. Lu Han's expression was calm, but there were already stormy waves in his heart. Green name. The 7 root ninjas are all green names. Why? Lu Han is a little confused. He can be sure that he has never had contact with those 7 people before, and there is no entanglement with them. This is the first time Lu Han has met them. There is no doubt that they will become green names. There must be a reason, but the reason is not Lu Han. Danzo. What order did he give to those 7 people? Lu Han couldn't help but guess that the root ninja had absolute loyalty to Danzo. Although there were some special cases, those belong to special cases and were not special cases. Your loyalty will not be shaken by external forces. Danzo is Yuhi's name. If they are also Yuhi's name, then Luhan can fully understand. That must be the assassination order issued by Danzo, but if it is a green name. Han Guang, this trip is dangerous, you must be more careful. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Luhan. Don't worry, Lord Hokage, your subordinates will live up to the trust of Lord Hokage. Lu Hanlian said respectfully. One day later, in the south of the Land of Fire. The night was thick, and the forest was dark and silent. By the river, the fire was burning, exuding sufficient light and heat, and the barbecue was driving on the fire. Luhan sat in front of the fire, eating barbecue absent-mindedly. His eyes were a little lost, as if he was thinking about something. Luhan's right, Hyuga Luo Ning ate the barbecue with a big mouthful, not at all as delicate as a girl should be, and occasionally glanced at Luhan secretly, but did not speak. There were only the two of them by the fire. This time, the ninja team that Konoha sent to the Land of Vortex, a total of 10 people. The captain is naturally Luhan, and his two followers, Hyuga Luo Ning and Might Dai, followed by Genbu Kirin. At this time, everyone else had eaten and drank enough, and went to rest around, and there was a ninja vigil. It's late at night, Luhan said suddenly, his absent-minded eyes quickly focused, and turned to look at Hyuga Luo Ning. Hyuga Luo Ning blinked her eyes in confusion, biting the barbecue in her mouth. Aren't you full yet? Luhan raised his eyebrows slightly. Hyuga Luo Ning made a vague voice, and as soon as she spoke, she couldn't go on with a Yuhi expression on her face. Hyuga Luo Ning is not slow to eat. She has eaten a lot, but she has not finished it yet. She and Might Dai are both taijutsu ninjas. It stands to reason that Might Dai should be able to eat more, but he is better than Hyuga Luo Ning. Eat first. Hyuga Luo Ning is still eating. Luhan withdrew his gaze towards Hyuga Luo Ning, and turned his wrist again. There was an extra scroll in his hand, which was the mission scroll that Sarutobi Hiruzen gave him. He opened the scroll slightly, glanced inward, and frowned subconsciously. Sarutobi Hiruzen's mission to Luhan: monitor the movements of the Uzumaki clan. If something goes wrong, take action. When he first got the scroll, Luhan wondered what the mission Sarutobi Hiruzen would give him. He made a lot of assumptions, but he never thought that it was for the Uzumaki family. This made Luhan a little embarrassed. Opportunity. What the hell is it? Luhan has been thinking about this problem. The words, action by chance, made Luhan not sure what to do. Sarutobi Hiruzen gave Luhan enough space to perform tasks. Once the Uzumaki family has a different heart, Luhan can do whatever he wants. Afraid. I don't like Sarutobi Hiruzen. I'm full. Hyuga Luo Ning's voice suddenly came from the side. Well, go and rest. Luhan said without raising his head. Oh, Hyuga Luo Ning responded, got up and walked to the back, and after taking a few steps, he got up and jumped up the big tree. Luhan looked at the task scroll, thought for a while, then put the scroll back, raised his hand and snapped his fingers. Call. A figure with an icy aura appeared in front of Luhan like the wind, and said in a low voice, Sir. Luhan looked up and saw that the person in front of him was the team leader of the Genbu 7 ninjas. Because of his green name, Luhan didn't know Akatsuki's strength, but only knew that his name was Zero Snake. Root ninjas are all stuffy gourds. They never took the initiative to speak this day. If Luhan didn't look for them, they wouldn't have any communication in private. Ask you a question. Luhan looked at Zero Snake. Sir, please speak. Zero Snake was still as cold as ever. Lord Danzo, what is the task for you? Luhan's voice was a little low. From the first moment he saw Anbuchi-ren, Luhan wondered, why are these 7 guys all green names? Lord Danzo made me swear to protect Lord Hengguang to the death, and told me again and again that in the event of an accident, we cannot help Lord Hengguang out of danger, we must die before Lord Hengguang. Zero Snake said, His voice did not change in the slightest, as if he was saying very common. Lu Han's eyes narrowed and he looked at Zero Snake before saying, "Go ahead." Yes. Zero Snake led the order to retreat. Lu Han sat by the fire and fell into deep thought again. He had no idea what Danzo was thinking. Did this guy really change his mind? Really send someone to protect, not wait for an opportunity to assassinate? Lu Han believed Zero Snake's words, because Zero Snake is a green name. Either he doesn't say it, or he's telling the truth. The reason why they become green names is because of belief. Loyal to Danzo's belief, unshakable. Therefore, they completely obeyed Danzo. Danzo asked them to protect Lu Han, and they would swear to protect Lu Han to the death, thus becoming a green name, but this is a very special green name. Because they could change to Yuhi at any time, just one command from Danzo. Danzo wants to protect me. Lu Han was puzzled. 2 more days. On the southeastern border of the Fire Nation, it was long into the night. Hand seal again and again, failing constantly, but he feels that he is getting closer and closer to success. Hand seal again. Secret technique, the technique of no trace lock. Lu Han suddenly felt a heat in his heart. Ding! Remind the subversive 3665 that you have a manipulative spell in your body. The elf's prompt sounded in Lu Han's ear. Chapter 0253 The Puppet of the Untraceable Lock. Konoha, late at night. In the dim space, Danzo sat cross-legged on the futon, breathless, like a sculpture. Sudden. There was a strange smell on Danzo's body, and the hair and the hem of his clothes floated up, as if the wind was blowing. He's getting started. Danzo suddenly opened his eyes with a look of surprise and joy in his eyes. He was surprised that he didn't expect Hanguang to be able to get started with the no-trace lock technique so quickly, and the joy was that this was what he wanted of. Secret art. Puppet of no-trace lock. Danzo completed the hand seal with one breath, and then let out a slightly painful groan, but he showed a smile, and he pulled open the front of his shirt. Looking down. At the mouth of the heart, the fingertip-sized Yuhi dot is the center, and there is a curved purple Yuhi-colored mark extending around it. This is the traceless lock spell mark. When Danzo created the technique of the traceless lock, there was a mistake. The effect of the traceless lock he expressed to Lu Han was not false, but Danzo did not tell Lu Han that the technique of the traceless lock had another purpose. Danzo once passed the technique of the untraceable lock to his subordinate ninjas, and he also discovered another purpose of the untraceable lock technique. He did not intend to create such a powerful and evil technique. Everything was a coincidence. On the southeastern border of the Fire Nation, Lu Han had already opened his shirt and looked at his heart. The big-eyed boss, with the all-black curse mark, exuded an aura that only Lu Han could feel. According to the records in the scroll, this is the embodiment of the initial cultivation of the no-trace lock technique. This spell mark is usually hidden in the invisible, and chakra urges it to be revealed. It is used to sense the child's spell mark. Those who practice the no-trace lock technique, the mantra on one's own body is called the mother mantra, and what is struck on the utensils is the child mantra, and the mother mantra can induce the child mantra. Elf, you just said, manipulating a spell seal. What do you mean? Lu Han asked anxiously. This should be a sensory spell mark, and what is a body? The mother mantra is the beginning of induction, not the source. How can it be expressed with the expression, in the body? This is a manipulative spell that will cause harm to subversives. It is the source of the spell being manipulated. The elf explained, the beginning of the manipulation already exists. Isn't this a sensory spell? Yes, the dual attribute effect, but the induction type starting end spell will not cause harm to the subversive 3665, so the elves will not make special reminders about this. Elf said. Lu Han's eyes widened, his eyes flickered, and it took a while to slowly spit out two words. Fuck. Danzo. No doubt, the manipulative start spell is on Danzo. Because this is his unique technique. It was he who took out the technique and exchanged it for the second stage of Shadow Flash. Conspiracy. This is a conspiracy. And Luhan also knew that once the mother curse mark of the no-trace lock technique appeared, it would be difficult to remove. But it's not impossible to remove it. It is written in the practice scroll that as long as the technique of the traceless lock is cultivated to the highest level, the ability to abolish the mother's curse mark can be obtained at any time. The so-called dacheng is to sense thousands of miles. Luhan has just started the technique of the traceless lock, and he can also put a curse on the utensils, but the sensing distance does not exceed 10 kilometers. Only when the origin of the center of the mother mantra seal becomes Yuhi color can it sense 100 miles, and the surrounding extension becomes Yuhi color, then it senses 300 miles and the extension becomes purple Yuhi color. Sensing thousands of miles. Although the untraceable lock technique is only a common A-level secret technique, because it has the nature of a step-up upgrade, it may take longer than futon wind-style fengsun to cultivate it to the highest level. Oh, no, Luhan tried to mobilize his chakra, and asked in a daze, since it's a manipulative spell, why haven't I been affected yet? If it wasn't for your reminder, I wouldn't be able to feel any changes in my body. Quote. I can't answer. Elf continued, Subversive 3665 can ask the subversive messenger after entering the subversive space. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Luhan immediately understood that any spell in the Hokage world can be exchanged in the subversion space. Some special spells also have detailed annotations. If there is no comment, you can also ask the subversion messenger. What is the use? Damn Danzo, smack me. If I wasn't a subversive, I would have been you. Luhan slowly clenched his fists and turned his head to look at the surrounding trees. Luhan is even more confused. What exactly is Danzo going to do? The 7 root ninjas are all green names, which means that Danzo really gave them an order to protect Luhan with his life. He wanted Luhan to die before. It was only for a very small reason at first, but later found that there was something wrong with Luhan. Step by step, he wanted to kill Luhan more and more, but suddenly, he didn't want Luhan to die. As for this manipulative spell, Luhan only knew that it was the source of the spell being manipulated, but he didn't know what it was for, because there was no physical discomfort. But Luhan felt uneasy. Under the circumstance of using the golden potion, I am afraid it will take several months before he can cultivate the no-trace lock technique to the fullest. Because he cannot use the golden potion to cultivate all the time, he needs to rest and needs to do things. Late at night. The fire by the river has been extinguished. Luhan rests by sitting under the tree closest to the river. He is already asleep and frowns slightly. Danzo appeared in Luhan's dream. Luhan saw a segment of light and shadow. He saw Danzo ascend to the position of Hokage. He saw Danzo giving orders. He saw the love of the Konoha people for Danzo, and Danzo was wide and kind smile. It was a dream that Luhan didn't like, but he couldn't get rid of it. 3 days later, the country of the vortex, the village of Uzushiogakure. Night, Luhan, who led the team to the village of Uzushiogakure safely, met Sarutobi Rodan, the leader of the mixed ninja army, at the military headquarters. Sarutobi Rodan was in his 30s, and he was very rough-looking. Most of them are reckless, otherwise they are delicate, and Sarutobi Rodan is the latter. Senju Nozomi and Uzumaki Jinghai were not in Uzushiogakure village. Luhan and Sarutobi Luo Ting talked for several hours, knowing Akatsuki's recent situation in the country of Vortex, and got up before 0000 in the morning to leave. Back at the Anbu Konoha Anbu station in Uzushiogakure village, Luhan strictly prohibited anyone from disturbing him. In the dim bedroom, Luhan seemed to have fallen asleep, but his body was suddenly illusory and solid again. Chapter 0254-Reverse Manipulation. A silver-white space filled with metallic textures, with glowing spheres suspended in the middle. Whoa! The ball suddenly cracked, and Luhan walked out. Check the exchange items. Luhan turned around to face the ball, which is the messenger of subversion, secret art, the art of no-trace lock. Call. The rays of light surged and condensed into a box in front of Luhan. In the box was a scroll, which was a scroll that could directly use the master's invisible lock technique. There was also a line of text annotations below, which indicated the name of the technique and what could be done. Inductive utility. Exchange price, 20 ingots. This technique. Luhan frowned and paused. Is there any other effect? No. The voice of the subversive messenger resounded through the space. No. No. This. How could it not be? Luhan was a little anxious. Since the curse mark appeared on his body, he has always dreamed of Danzo in the past few days. It's probably because of the curse mark. He still can't understand what it means to always dream of Danzo, but he knows that it must not be a good thing. There was a moment of silence in the subversive space. Luhan's expression became more and more suspicious. Could it be? Is another technique. It can be used for the technique of the traceless lock. Luhan suddenly thought of it, raised his head and said, all the secret techniques that can be exchanged and manipulated, show me. Wow! The rays of light surged, forming a row of boxes in front of Luhan. The puppet of the untraceable lock. Luhan saw at a glance that the exchange price was also a grade A secret technique of 20 ingots. The name was very similar to the technique of the untraceable lock, but there was no text annotation, only the name and price. What is the difference between the puppet of the traceless lock and the technique of the traceless lock? What does it have to do with it? Luhan asked. The puppet of the traceless lock is an improvement of the technique of the traceless lock. It has all the effects of the technique of the traceless lock. At the same time, it can also control the mother mark of the technique of the traceless lock, affecting the mother who has the traceless lock. The mind of the cursed man. The subversive messenger explained. Affects thinking. Luhan muttered, specifically, what kind of relationship is this? The no-trace lock technique is actually an induction-type secret technique, and the curse marks formed are also induction curse marks. The mother mark is held by the caster, and the child mark can only be stamped on non-living objects. However, if both of them have a mother imprint, there will be a confusing induction. If the technique of the traceless lock is improved into the puppet of the traceless lock, a clear induction can be formed, and the sensing distance will be farther. And because these two techniques have been unlocked and Luhan has enough ingots to exchange, the messenger of subversion explained Luhan in great detail. Luhan listened, his face became more solemn. To put it simply, Danzo can sense Luhan's position at this time, and can manipulate the traceless lock mother mark on Luhan's body. The mother curse mark on Luhan's body will not cause any substantial harm to Luhan. After all, in essence it's just a spell for induction. But it can interfere with Luhan's thinking during sleep. From a scientific point of view, it can interfere with Luhan's brain waves. It controlled Luhan's dream. Or maybe it was Danzo who controlled Luhan's dream. Whatever Danzo wants Luhan to dream, Luhan will dream. This will seriously disrupt people's thinking. You must know that people will not dream when they are resting normally. Dreams will not appear during deep sleep. Only when people are in light sleep, their thinking will be active, and dreams will be created. As long as you continue to influence the person who holds the master seal of the untraceable lock, and continue to use dreams to influence the other person's thinking, in the extreme, you can change the other person's thinking, cognition, and preferences for things. Only the insane will not be affected. Quote. So, Danzo is trying to change my mind. Luhan raised his hand to hold his chin, and fell into deep thought, frowning at first, and then his face became strange. Danzo is he going to win me over? Let me fall to his side. Is that so? Luhan seems to understand, the boss with his eyes wide open. Because the dreams of the previous few days were all creating a very positive and glorious image of Danzo, which even affected Luhan's thoughts, because Luhan had no doubts about Danzo's loyalty to Konoha, and he knew that the world he had come to had created with the butterfly effect. Maybe one day, Danzo will become the beloved Hokage in Konoha village. Now that I think about it, it's all about Danzo. He wanted to influence Luhan's thinking. Only a few days. Luhan's thinking was really affected. This is still in the early days. After the ghost knows, Danzo will let Lu Han dream. Damn Danzo, next work. Disgusting, smelly, shameless. Lu Han figured out all of this, as if he suddenly woke up and yelled at Danzo. Danzo was so embarrassed that he even gave himself a tall and positive image. How to unlock the mother seal of the no-trace lock technique. Lu Han raised his head and asked. Upgrade to LV6, you can remove and reshape the mother curse at any time. The subversion messenger continued, I can't tell you any other method. If he can't tell, it means that there are other ways to remove the mother curse, but it may involve other techniques or other things, and the messenger of subversion cannot tell Lu Han. LV6. I am LV1 now. LV6 is equivalent to Dacheng, which is the level of all Danzo's invisible lock puppets. LV6 is also the limit of this world. I still need to upgrade 5 levels, 20 ingots, 100 ingots. Lu Han muttered for a while, thinking. He only has 33 ingots now, which is not enough. He really wanted to get rid of the mother imprint right away. Because things like mental thinking and thinking, once influenced, there will be uncontrollable changes. It's like a person who was killed by an enemy family. He hated the enemy family and wanted to take revenge. But someone told him that the enemy family had to kill for some reason. Can this person let go of the hatred? Even if you let go of hatred, won't your Xing change? There will always be change and it is out of control. Right. Lu Han raised his head suddenly. He suddenly thought of a question. If I raise my traceless lock technique to level 7, which is higher than the limit of this world, then will it be affected? It will backlash and reverse the manipulation. That is to say. Chapter 0255 here they come. The mother curse mark of the no-trace lock technique is exactly the same as the puppet mother's curse mark of the no-trace lock, but the primary and secondary difference. The subversion messenger even said, they are both mother curse marks and can be sensed externally, so induction is two-way, but the higher level side blocks the induction of the lower level side, and if the lower level side grows to a higher level, it will reverse, and the primary and secondary will be reversed. Quote. This. Lu Han's eyes lit up, and then he raised his eyebrows again. Wait. No, I don't know the puppet of the traceless lock, I only know the technique of the traceless lock. Then, it can be reversed. Yes, the subversive messenger explained, the puppet of the untraceable lock is originally a technique used to establish a manipulative connection, and if the connection has already been established, there is no need to reuse it to establish a manipulative connection. Well, you know all about me in the Hokage world, right? Clear. In that case, as long as I raise the untraceable lock technique to LV7, or a higher level, I can reverse the manipulation, from Danzo manipulating the traceless lock mother's spell on me too. I manipulating the traceless lock mother's spell can affect his thinking, right? Yes. It can be like this. Lu Han was a little excited, and the subversive messenger gave him a positive answer. As long as the no-trace lock technique is upgraded to LV7, the manipulation can be reversed. Danzo failed to kill Lu Han many times, and saw Lu Han's talent, so he changed his thinking, from wanting to kill to wanting to conquer. But now, Lu Han has the opportunity to reverse all this. Who conquers whom? Lu Han's thoughts fluctuated. The occurrence of this incident has prompted Lu Han to change his thoughts on the way forward. Thinking about it, Lu Han couldn't help but mutter, poor money. Poor money. Too bad money. Lu Han now only has 33 ingots. If he wants to make the technique of the traceless lock reach LV7 immediately, he still needs 6 scrolls, a total of 120 ingots. Ingots are getting harder and harder to take. At this time, Lu Han killed Chunin Genin, and the drop rate of ingots is extremely low. If you kill Jonin, you may kill a few, and you will drop 1. Logic, it is difficult for powerful players to bully weak monsters. Only by killing the first boss will a lot of ingots be dropped. It is indeed a lot, because the higher the level of the boss in the first kill, the more ingots will be dropped. Lu Han only drops a few ingots when he kills the elite Chunin for the first time, while the first kill of the elite Jonin will drop 10 ingots. Several. That day, he killed the 50-level bronze boss Ma Ankang for the first time, but he got nearly 20 ingots. Most of the ingots that Lu Han has now are contributed by Ma Ankang people, and a few are contributed by the non-first kill of the 50-level white-silver boss Ringo Rahe. A lot of spies got it. Still gotta kill first. Lu Han knew that he didn't have much time. As long as the traceless Lockmother's spell on his body was still there, he would continue to be affected, and he couldn't stop sleeping. Only by eliminating or reversing the effect could he stop being affected. Level 40. I haven't killed a level 40 gold boss yet. It seems. I have to. Lu Han remembered clearly that the first level 40 bronze boss was Shimura, the level 40 white-silver boss was Gaidong Chaohei, the level 50 bronze boss was Ma Ankang, and the level 50 white-silver boss was Captain Kurigakure Anbu Blood Mist. Level 40 gold boss, haven't killed yet. The country of Vortex, the southwest mountain range under the night. Boom. In the vast mountains and forests, there was a constant roar, and the detonating balls fell into the forest one by one, the hillsides collapsed, and the vegetation was forbidden to be destroyed. Within a radius of more than 10 miles, all under the shroud of firelight, all eyes were devastated. The smell of blood wafted in the wind. Quick! Over there! Team 3, watch out for the lake over there. There are traces here, come and see. Noisy voices are heard one after another in the mountains and forests. Hundreds of Kurigakure ninjas are conducting a carpet search of this forest. High in the sky, nearly 30 flying ninja squadrons form a tight aerial surveillance network. They gather here, over a radius of more than 10 kilometers, back and forth, constantly searching. Not long ago, a battle broke out near here. A Kurigakure Jonin team was quickly killed. Flying Ninja, who was cruising nearby, found a problem. He only saw the corpse, but no enemy. However, it was concluded that the enemy had not escaped. Judgment from afar. The Flying Ninja Squadron and the search team then reached the vicinity, first blocked, and then began a carpet search. Time flies. After a full 3 hours, the Kurigakure search force evacuated the mountain forest after finding nothing, and the Flying Ninja Squadron also spread into several squads, dispersed and started a wider search. Unconsciously. The mountain in the east, the sun of Huoyuhi slowly rose, and the warm sunlight shone into the mountain forest, casting a dim yellow veil on this devastated world. To the northeast of the area that was being searched at night, there was a large lake next to a low mountain. The lake surface was rippling with blue waves, and a thick fog gradually rolled over. Click. Whoa whoa. Like a broken mirror, a few cracks appeared out of thin air on the center of the lake. The cracks spread rapidly, and then, they were completely broken. The enchantment shards like broken glass splashed around and quickly dissipated into nothingness. Tsunade, Jiraiya, Orochimaru and other 9 people appeared out of thin air on the lake. Phew. Orochimaru, who was standing in the middle of the crowd, let out a long breath, and his eyes were slowly opened with a look of exhaustion. Orochimaru is indeed a prodigy of the sky, able to create such a secret technique. Hyuga Heian looked at Orochimaru and smiled. This time, it's your fault, otherwise we will fight with Kurigakure, and I don't know how many of us will be able to return alive. In fact, it was not afraid to fight with hundreds of Kurigakure ninjas, mainly because of the fear that the 7 people of the Mist Ninja will come, and those 7 guys are simply haunted. Lord Heian is overrated, Orochimaru said with rare humility, because Hyuga Heian is a more powerful ninja than him. Patriarch. There was a sudden exclamation from the side, and it was a Hyuga ninja who had activated Byakugan to look around, exclaiming again and again, "They are here. The 7 ninja blades of mist. They are here." What? Everyone's color changed. Chapter 0256_Dread Gray Man. Hyuga closed his eyes for a moment, and wrinkles appeared around his eyes. The world in his eyes suddenly turned gray and white, everything in front of him began to be illusory, and the picture quickly drew closer. Why are they here? How far away are we? Tsunade asked urgently. There's less than 2 kilometers left. They're here. Hyuga Heian spoke quickly. They're coming towards this lake, and There's one more person. There are 8 people in total. Another one is not forbearance. Knife 7. Me. I can't see clearly. I can't see through his clothes. His face is blocked by the kabuto hat. Can't see through, Jiraiya exclaimed, staring at Hyuga Heian with wide eyes. Senior. Hyuga Heian is the head of the Hyuga branch, and his Byakugan pupil strength is not weaker than that of the main clan head, Hyuga Huyang. Can't he see it? It should be some kind of secret technique. Hyuga Heian quickly replied, perhaps only Byakugan of main clan can see through. Let's get out of here, hurry up. Why run? Orochimaru said suddenly, squinting at Hyuga Heian. We don't necessarily lose. Orochimaru is right, it's not necessarily a loser. Are 9 of them in total. Tsunade, Jiraiya, Orochimaru 3 are not inferior to Munashi Ghost 7. The 3 of them join forces to double the battle, and Hyuga Heian is a more powerful existence than them. Plus 5 Hyuga family elite Jonin. Can't beat the 7 ninja swordsmen of Mist. Orochimaru is a belligerent, and as long as he has the opportunity to kill the 7 people of the Kiri no Ninja, he doesn't want to miss it. Let's go. We are not only facing the 7 people of the Mist Ninja Swordsmen. We cannot win in a short period of time against an enemy of their strength. As long as the time drags on and there is too much movement, the large force of Kurigakure village will be defeated. Maybe come over, Tsunade continued, patting Orochimaru on the shoulder. Let's go. 9 people disappeared into the lake at the same time. Soon after, the forest by the lake. Call, 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 call. 8 figures appeared one after another, with Munashi Guichi standing at the front, frowning at the empty lake. Beside Munashi Guichi, there is a ninja wearing a gray robe kabuto hat that almost completely covers his head. There is no breath on his body. If you don't look at his position, you can't notice his existence at all. Sir. Munashi Guichi looked at the gray-robed figure beside him. Gray-robed figure didn't speak. After a moment of silence, he said, it's still 9 people, fleeing westward, chasing. Yes, Your Excellency, the 7 members of the Mist Ninja Sword agreed in unison. 8 people disappeared by the lake. After half an hour, the sun has risen, and the forest is becoming more and more translucent, and 9 ninjas from Tsunade, Hyuga, and Yangdu are constantly jumping on the trees, moving at full speed. They're still following, Hyuga Heian said again, driving the Byakugan to look back. This was not the first time he had said this, and suddenly exclaimed, no. One less person. Futon, wind style, dragon breakthrough. A figure suddenly appeared 100 meters in front of everyone. It was the man in gray robe. His slender fingers stretched out from under his sleeves, colliding and changing gestures continuously, and he completed the hand seal in almost the blink of an eye. Be careful. Defense. Call. Boom. The terrifying wind blew out in an instant, rapidly expanding in a spiral shape, turning into a huge tornado, sweeping towards Tsunade and other 8 people. Because of the short distance, Tsunade's 8 people reacted extremely quickly. Sweden, water style, oil rain. Completed the hand seal again, and the black water Jinchuriki column rushed out, and under the action of the tornado, it lashed wildly around, and then burst into flames. In an instant it was a sea of fire. The raging flames destroyed the forest trees piece by piece and charged towards the Tsunade 8. Damn it! Seeing that the situation was not good, Hyuga Heian jumped forward and spiraled. 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven. Quote. Revolving heaven by Hyuga Heian. The constantly rotating chakra formed a huge barrier, and the flames impacted on it, and all of them were bounced out. The huge revolving heaven stood in front of Tsunade and other 7 people, and resisted the combination ninjutsu of the gray-robed man. Most of the flame shock. That's right, it's a combination of ninjutsu. A combination of an A-level technique and an S-level technique. The gray-robed man launched a combination ninjutsu by himself. The speed of his hand seal is outrageous. Hyuga was shocked, because this gray-robed ninja might be even stronger than him. In the sky, several kilometers away, a flying ninja noticed flames erupting from the forest. In the forest, the fast-moving 7 members of the Mist Ninja Sword could already see Tsunade and others in the distance. Finally, when the flames dissipated, the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist rushed to the vicinity, and none of the Konoha 8 ninjas left. The 7 ninja blades of mist were in the east, while the gray-robed ninja was still standing on the stone, raising his hand to maintain the hand seal movement, as if he might attack again at any time. A clearing appeared in the forest, the surrounding trees were all destroyed, and the ground was scorched. The atmosphere seemed to freeze. Tsunade's face was horrified. He looked back at the group of 7 people. Meidu turned his head to go, and looked at the gray-robed man who had just used a combination of ninjutsu to stop all 8 people, and couldn't help shouting. One voice. Don't hide your head and show your tail. Who are you? Don't you know me? I'll let you guys know. The gray-robed ninja made a low voice. The 7 ninja swordsmen obey the order, and no one is allowed to escape. Yes, your lord. Munashi and the others agreed in unison. Sir, Tsunade exclaimed. Call. The gray-robed man bent his knees, and then shot into the sky like a cannonball. The man quickly hand-sealed in the air, and a strange chakra fluctuation rose from his body, with the suppleness of water and the heat of fire. Boiling rain. It's boiling rain. It's him. Hyuga Heian exclaimed, his eyes wide as bull's eyes. It's him. It's him. This chakra fluctuation is too special. Hyuga Heian, who participated in the First Ninja World War, remembers. Mizukage assists. Boiling rain. He actually came to the country of Vortex. Flee. Run away. We are not his opponents. Hyuga Heian let out a shrill cry. Uzushiogakure Village, morning, military department. Empty, and the main seat is on the left and right sides. Luhan and Sarutobi Luoting are sitting opposite each other. Lord Luoting, how many Kurigakure prisoners have we captured recently? Luhan asked thoughtfully. I don't know, can you let me? Luhan thought of a shortcut, kill the prisoners and lose the ingot. Chapter 0257_Dungeon Captive. At present, a total of 27 prisoners have been captured, of which 22 have been identified, 20 are Kurigakure ninjas, 1 Sunagakure ninja, 1 Kumogakure ninja, and 5 others. 2 are still in a coma. In the middle, the other 3 bones are too hard to say anything and cannot confirm their identity. Sarutobi Luoting grinned, raised his hand to touch the beard on his chin, raised his eyebrows slightly at Luhan. Captain Hangguang is interested to see. Well, I'm sorry, Lord Luoting. Luhan nodded, and the eyes under the mask flashed. Vortex Country Dungeon. In the dark passage, there is a Uzushiogakure ninja handle not far from each other. Luhan, Sarutobi Rodan, Hyuga Luoning, might die, and Sarutobi Rodan's entourage, a group of 5, walking towards the depths of the passage unhurriedly. Go. Currently in Uzushiogakure village, Sarutobi Rodan is the supreme commander. Because Uzumaki Jinghai was not there, something happened in the central part of the country of Vortex. Uzumaki Jinghai brought people there more than 10 days ago. Senju's principle is to lead some Anbu ninjas in the western part of the country of Vortex, and cooperate with the independent scout brigade to carry out a plan to rescue Tsunade and others. Because Hyuga Heian has led the team formed by the elite Jonin into the southwest mountain area controlled by Kurigakure, Senju Nazara has temporarily commanded the independent scout brigade. If Luhan passes, he will take over Senju Nazara's temporary position. In terms of rank, the deputy captain of Konoha Anbu is at the same level as the commander of the Mixed Special Ninja Corps. That is to say, in the country of Vortex at this time, the ninja with the highest status is Uzumaki Jinghai. This cannot be changed. Unless Sarutobi Hiruzen comes to the country of Vortex, even if Danzo comes, it is impossible to have a higher status than Uzumaki Jinghai. And under Uzumaki's surprise, it was Luhan and Sarutobi Luoting. However, because Luhan and Sarutobi Luoting are different in charge of affairs, they do not belong to the same job system, so they can only negotiate things, and no one can order them. Cell number 13, Dizzy, in front of the gate. Luhan and Sarutobi Rodan stopped and looked inside. This is a large cell, and all 15 prisoners whose identities have been confirmed are imprisoned in it. There are old and young. In Luhan's eyes, they are naturally Yuhi names, but most of them are Chunin, a few are Genin, and none are more advanced. Normally, ninjas are detained separately and rarely together, because ninjas have special abilities, and it is easy to cause trouble if they are locked together. But in Uzushiogakure village, there is no need to worry about such a thing happening, because this is the territory of the Uzumaki clan, and the Uzumaki clan master has a powerful seal technique. No matter how strong the ninja ability is, as long as they are caught and lose their ability to resist, the Uzumaki clan will have the ability completely seal its power. Want to run? Totally impossible. The Jonin prisoners are being held there. Sarutobi Rodan pointed deeper into the passage. Tianzi number 4 cell. 5 Kurigakure Jonin, 1 Sunagakure Jonin, and 1 Kumogakure Jonin, a total of 7 people, were detained in this cell. All of them were sealed, wearing special chains, scattered throughout the cell. Some were lying on the hay while sleeping, some leaned against the wall, and when they saw someone outside the fence gate, they looked up and looked indifferent. They didn't seem to suffer, because after being caught, everything that should be explained has been explained. This is a prisoner of war. Generally, ninjas with special tasks will not say anything after being caught. However, ninjas who are defeated in a head-on war and who are caught, ask what they say. They don't need to hide anything, and what they know is not a secret. A ninja caught in a war doesn't mean he will die. As long as the two sides exchange prisoners, they can be reborn. Uzushiogakure has captured prisoners here, and Kurigakure also has them. If it is not necessary, neither side will execute the prisoners. In this way, as long as there is a suitable time, the two sides can agree on a time and place for a prisoner exchange. Therefore, the prisoners are still valuable. It's not that you have to kill after asking. Luhan, wearing a black robe and a mask, stood outside the fence gate and glanced at the 7 Jonin prisoners, feeling a little disappointed. 5 level 30 elites, 1 level 30 bronze boss, and 1 level 30 white silver boss. This level of wild monster is boring to kill. Luhan can't kill prisoners at will. He can kill, but he must have a reason. Luhan has already thought of some reasons, but it is impossible to use the reason for these impossible reasons. On captives who bring great harvests. Even if you kill the level 30 white silver boss, because it is not the first kill, you may not even drop the A-level ninjutsu scroll, and at least it must be an A-level ninjutsu scroll, and the value will not be less than 10 ingots, which can be used for recycling. Kill the ingots directly. If you kill all 7 Jonin prisoners, you won't get a few. And it was impossible for Luhan to kill them all. He couldn't find a reason. In fact, when Luhan came here, what he was looking forward to in his heart was to have powerful captives, the kind of captives who would definitely lose A-level ninjutsu scrolls and some ingots if they were killed. What about the 5 unidentified prisoners? Luhan turned his head and asked. Follow me. Sarutobi Rodan waved his hand. Led by Sarutobi Rodan, the 5 continued to walk inwards along the passage. They reached a fork in a short distance. They turned right and entered another short corridor. At the end of the corridor were 2 iron doors facing each other. In Luhan's eyes, the names of the 2 doors are displayed, the dungeon interrogation room on the left, and the dungeon medical room on the right. Sarutobi Luoting took Luhan to the medical room first. The medical room is a large room with small cells. There are 7 cells in total, 2 of which are in use, and 2 comatose prisoners are being held separately. They all have complex sealing spells, and the entire cell is also shrouded in a special breath, which is a spell that can delay the further deterioration of their injuries. Luhan looked at it and found it boring, but they were 2 teenage Jonin, genius ninjas, valuable captives, but worthless to Luhan. The 5 people immediately came to the interrogation room, which was also a large room with a small cell. There are 10 small cells in total, and 3 unidentified prisoners are held separately. Luhan glanced and saw a very dazzling Yuhi name. The great elder of the Kurigakure Ghost Lantern clan, Level 50 White Silver Boss, Ghost Lantern Chuntao. Chapter 0258 Ghost Lamp Chuntao. Level 50 White Silver Boss. Beyond the existence of elite Jonin, ninjas of this strength are basically masters level jutsus, but kills will not necessarily drop S-level techniques, because it is not the first kill, but A-level ninjas will definitely drop, and it is possible more than one. The lowest value A-level ninjutsu is also worth 10 ingots, and at least 4 or 5 ingots can be obtained by recycling. If he can drop a few A-level ninjutsu scrolls. Lu Han was very moved. His strength has reached the bottleneck stage now, and he can no longer improve explosively. Therefore, he can't expect to kill more advanced bosses to get the first kill reward. Now to save ingots, he mainly relies on recycling. In the small cell, the space is not large, no more than 10 square meters, square, without any furnishings. The middle-aged ninja, who was about 40 years old, sat cross-legged against the wall in the cell, with chains on his hands and feet. He could see the curse mark on his neck and the back of his hands, which was the seal of the Uzumaki family. Why, so young? Lu Han looked at Ghost Deng Chuntao, his brows wrinkled subconsciously. Since he is the great elder of the Ghost Lantern clan, he should be in his 50s or 60s. Different from ordinary clans, the Ghost Lantern clan is the largest clan in the Kurigakure. With a large number of ninjas, how could the chief elder be middle-aged? Even if he is strong and does not have a high enough seniority, it is difficult to serve as a great elder, and he can't. The older generation of the Ghost Lamp clan is dead, right? That is impossible. When Lu Han observed Ghost Deng Chuntao kept moving and sat cross-legged with his eyes closed. His face was very pale, and it was a little scary. It was obvious that he had been interrogated and tortured. This person looks quite young, and Lord Luoting doesn't know him. Lu Han asked with a glance. I haven't seen it before. Sarutobi Rodan shook his head. Before Captain Hengguang came, Anbu had compared the portraits and found no information about people with similar faces. How was he caught? What strength? Lu Han asked again. Tsunade and the others caught it. Sarutobi Rodan continued. A month and a half ago, in the northwest of the country of vortices, I heard from Tsunade that before they found this person, there was a melee in that area. Hundreds of ninjas on both sides of Kurigakure and Uzushiogakure fought. The melee, and when Tsunade and the others arrived, the melee was over, and Kurigakure was retreating. But at that time he was seriously injured, and the chakra flow was controlled by the sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan. Tsunade easily defeated him and captured him alive. Quote, the specific strength of this person is hard to estimate. Because of the injury and the influence of the sealing technique, only Jonin's strength was exerted at that time, and his real strength may be stronger than that of ordinary Jonin. Stronger than the average Jonin. Lu Han muttered, his eyes flashed. Not only stronger than the average Jonin, this guy's real strength has reached the level of the 7 members of the Ninja Blade of the Mist. Don't say anything, Lu Han said, looking into the cell. Yes, don't say anything. We Konoha and Uzumaki have all interrogated him, and used various techniques that can make people faint, but this guy has hard bones and never said a word. Sarutobi Luoting said with a look of doubt, it's strange to say that he was arrested in front of the battlefield. There is nothing he can't say, and he doesn't know what he wants to hide. Maybe I feel humiliated. I don't want to say it. Lu Han replied. He knew why Ghost Lamp Chuntao didn't say it. Because he was afraid of saying the wrong thing and knowing his identity. The elder of the Ghost Lamp clan, this is a high-level existence in Kurigakure, and its value is much higher than his true strength. And Lu Han still has doubts. Why does no one know this guy? Why so young? Appearance-changing techniques. Can it be permanently changed? Don't the other Kurigakure ninjas know him? Lu Han suddenly thought, looked at Sarutobi Rodan and asked. I don't know. Sarutobi Rodan shook his head, so he also had a guess, guessing that he was the ninja of Kurigakure Anbu. Well, Lu Han pondered a little, paused, turned to look at Hyuga Luoning. Look at him, is there any problem? Yes. Hyuga Luoning obeyed respectfully, and then she folded her hands together, her eyes widened, and wrinkles appeared around her eyes. Byakugan. Hyuga Luo Ning performed a perspective on the ghost lamp Chuntao. Soon, the folds around her eyes disappeared. She looked at Lu Han and shook her head gently. No problem. Well, I'll try him, and I'll take him away. Lu Han looked at Sarutobi Luo Ting again. Okay. Sarutobi Luo Ting did not hesitate. In his eyes, this is just a tough Jonin. Even the Jonin of Kurigakure Anbu is nothing. Besides, as Lu Han, he naturally has the right to interrogate him. Sarutobi Rodan gestured to the Uzumaki ninjas with their hands on both sides of the cell, and one of them immediately opened the cell. Ghost Light Chuntao also opened his eyes at this moment. After leaving the dungeon, Lu Han came to the intelligence department of Uzushiogakure village alone to check the information about the Kurigakure ghost lamp family, and immediately found the information of ghost lamp Chuntao. Ghost Deng Chuntao, now 60 years old, during the first ninja war more than 10 years ago, in his prime, Ghost Deng Chuntao is one of the strongest in the ninja world. He has established brilliant feats for Kurigakure on the battlefield, and at that time, he was the patriarch of the Ghost Lamp clan. 5 years ago, Gaidong Chuntao voluntarily resigned as the patriarch of the Gaidong clan because of his aging, weakened physical fitness and strength, and passed the patriarch's position to his eldest son. Served as the great elder of the Ghost Lamp clan to this day. After that, the Ghost Lamp Chuntao rarely made public appearances in the village of Kurigakure, and Konoha Anbu never got any information about him again. It is worth mentioning that he also has a younger brother, who is famous in the whole ninja world. The strongest person in the world is the second-generation Mizukage, Ghost Lantern Wanyu. The identity of this person. Really amazing. Mizukage's brother, the father of the Ghost Lamp Patriarch. Lu Han also created new doubts. What is this guy doing in the country of Vortex? His arrest may have been an accident, but why did he come to the country of Vortex, let alone other things? A ninja of his age, unless during a total war, would not need to participate in the war. After all, they are the older generation whose strength has declined with age. Not to mention his terrifying identity. Something wrong. Chapter 0259 _ You Dare to Kill Me. Uzushiogakure Village, Konoha Anbu Station. In the huge and empty quiet room, Lu Han sat cross-legged on the futon and looked at the front with calm eyes. On the futon a few meters in front of him, Ghost Lamp Chuntao was also sitting cross-legged. Cannot use chakra, basically harmless. Ghost Deng Chuntao looked calmly at Lu Han, who was wearing a black robe and a mask, with no expression on his face, without the slightest fear. Torture. He is not afraid. I'm very puzzled, Lu Han said lightly. His eyes under the mask looked directly at the Ghost Lamp Chuntao. Just now, I went to check the information about Kurigakure. Very interesting. There is no information about you, even with you don't have anyone who looks similar to you. It stands to reason that a ninja of your age should not be a nameless person. Ghost Deng Chuntao was silent. After he was arrested, he didn't speak. The more such a prisoner is, the more interesting it is. Unless there is a necessary reason, it is impossible to execute it. Moreover, it is Jonin anyway, and it is of great value. It is a good choice to exchange prisoners. So Gui Deng Chuntao understands that if he doesn't say anything, although he will suffer some pain, he will never die. I have a question to ask you. Lu Han's voice was hoarse and his eyes blinked slightly. I wonder if you can tell me how you changed your appearance. Permanent change. Is it some kind of technique? Ghost Deng Chuntao remained silent. This was not the first time he had heard such deceitful words. You really think you can fool me? Huh, Ghost Lamp Chuntao, the great elder of the Ghost Lamp clan, right? What? Ghost Deng Chuntao's eyes flashed with horror for a moment, and he blurted out with a low voice. Lu Han suddenly understood why Ghost Deng Chuntao didn't speak when he died, and he didn't even tell lies, because his voice. No matter what tone he pretended to be, that old feeling couldn't be concealed. Finally willing to speak, there was a smile in Lu Han's voice. You, who are you? Ghost Deng Chuntao looked at Lu Han in disbelief, and was already stunned. There were only a few people in Kurigakure who knew what he looked like now. How could they be known by the ninjas of Konoha Anbu? You should know me, Lu Han said lightly, raised his hand to clasp the mask, and slowly took it off his face, revealing a serious face with a hint of immaturity. Ghost Deng Chuntao's eyes widened in an instant, hatred flashed in his eyes, and after a pause, he bit Kiba and said, "Cold light." He knew what cold light looked like, as many ninjas in Kurigakure knew. That's right, it's me. Lu Han grinned, then restrained his smile again, stared at the ghost lamp Chuntao. His voice was cold. You don't need to know how I know your identity, Akatsuki. I'll give you two choices now, you be honest, or I'll kill you. You dare to kill me? Knowing Akatsuki's identity, Gaidong Chuntao had the confidence instead, and squinted his eyes slightly. Since you know who I am, you should also understand my importance. Knows that he is a very important bargaining chip. This kind of prisoner will not be easily killed if it falls into the hands of the enemy. As Gaidong Chuntao, he can exchange Kurigakure for 100 Konoha and Uzushiogakure prisoners. Points, and can even threaten Kurigakure with him, causing Kurigakure to change his strategy against the land of Vortex. The importance of the ghost lamp Chuntao is even equivalent to that Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru were captured by Kurigakure at the same time. If this happened, even Sarutobi Hiruzen, who has always taken care of the overall situation, would probably pay a big price to exchange the three of them. If it was someone else, maybe I wouldn't kill you, Lu Han smiled, coldly. Why do you think I should interrogate you alone? Why don't you expose your identity in person? I'm the only one now. Knowing your identity, killing you. I have nothing to dare. Silence. Ghost Deng Chuntao stared at Lu Han. Lu Han gradually restrained his smile, and Sen Leng looked at the ghost lamp Chuntao. Eye to eye. There was no sway in the eyes of both parties. But Lu Han really has no scruples. But Ghost Deng Chuntao's heart was full of turbulent waves. His understanding of Hengguang is limited to what Lu Han did in the water country in the past few months. He is young, talented and evil, elusive, acting strange. An unfathomable feeling. Are you gambling with me? I dare not kill you. Can you bet? Lu Han spoke again. You won, said Ghost Lamp Chuntao. He couldn't afford to gamble. Please. Lu Han raised his hand. I just want to know two things. First, how did you become like this? Second, why did you come to the country of Vortex? Don't tell me they sent you here, those who are in the war. These words will not deceive me. Quote. Relying on the technique of hydration, I have improved and developed the technique to change the natural structure of the body's skin and flesh cells. Permanent change. Can be used multiple times. Understood. Lu Han nodded. In fact, this technique does not need to hide even if the identity has been discovered. Changing the body's skin and flesh cells can actually control the increase or decrease of fat, muscle, and skin. The same bone structure, the flesh on the face is thicker, and the corners of the eyes can be controlled. Tuck in a little more and have a less fleshy chin, and it will turn into a completely different face shape, making the skin tighter, more active, and looking younger. There is a second question. Lu Han said again. Ghost Deng Chuntao was silent, as if thinking about how to say it, or maybe thinking about how to lie to Lu Han. My patience is limited, Lu Han warned. I'm here, Ghost Lamp Chuntao said. Meet Uzumaki Jinghai. Oh, Lu Han's eyes lit up. On behalf of the village of Kurigakure, I met Uzumaki Jinkai to talk about the country of the Vortex, but I was caught before I met him, by accident. What's the matter? What else could it be? Ghost Deng Chuntao asked rhetorically. Well, Lu Han pondered. Kurigakure sent enough people to meet with Uzumaki Jinghai. Naturally he wanted Uzushiogakure village to take refuge in Kurigakure. After all, it was aimed at Konoha, although what Ghost Lantern Chuntao said might be a lie. But to Lu Han, it didn't matter. Kai. The piercing sound of breaking the air suddenly sounded. Lu Han flicked his arm, and Kulu directly attacked the ghost lamp Chuntao. You, Ghost Deng Chuntao suddenly made a sound of anger. Chapter 0260-Bad News. Ghost Deng Chuntao's reaction consciousness was still there. The moment Lu Han swung his hand, he had already noticed it and smelled the breath of death, but he couldn't hide. The aging body made him not have too strong physical strength, and there was a seal on his body, which could not be used to convert chakra. Bang bang. Ghost Deng Chuntao still had an angry expression on his face. There was already a blood hole on his forehead, and his head was completely pierced by Kulu. More than 30 pieces of falling objects exploded in an instant and flew towards Lu Han. Ghost Lamp Chuntao, die. Sin is a sin, Lu Han chanted twice in a fake manner. Killing a captive who couldn't resist felt a little strange. In this regard, the rules also imposed restrictions on Lu Han. Lu Han could kill a captive and get dropped items. But can't kill a prisoner stronger than him. That will trigger the restriction, and there will be no drops. In terms of Lu Han's current strength, it should be slightly stronger than the level 50 white silver boss, so killing Ghost Deng Chuntao will not trigger any drop restrictions. In a flash, Lu Han came to Gui Deng Chuntao's body, reached out with one hand, and deprived him 5 times in a row. All are deprivation failures. Someone. Lu Han flashed back and sat down, raised his head and called. Squeak. The door of the quiet room opened, and Might Dai, dressed as Anbu, respectfully said, Lord Hengguang. He saw the body of Ghost Deng Chuntao, and his eyes changed slightly. Really, this quiet room was painted with a sealing spell, which blocked most of the outside sounds, and would not let the outside hear the sounds inside. Take the corpse away and let someone tell Lord Luoting that this person didn't say anything, I killed him. Lu Han ordered. Yes, Might Dai ordered. Lu Han suddenly got up and disappeared into the quiet room. He is not worried about what Sarutobi Luoting will say, because Sarutobi Luoting does not know the true identity of Ghost Lamp Chuntao. In Sarutobi Luoting's eyesight, Ghost Lamp Chuntao is just a hard-bone Jonin, guessing that he may be born in Kurigakure Anbu, such a ninja, Lu Han to kill is to kill. Soon after, in the bedroom. Lu Han sat cross-legged on the long wooden slump. With a wave of his hand, more than 30 pieces of falling objects were spread on the wooden slump. Lu Han glanced at it, then subconsciously frowned, and asked in his heart, Elf, why are so many falling down? Things. Quantity, even more than the first kill. His master has a lot of skills, said the elf. So, Lu Han was stunned for a moment, then quickly said, that is to say, if he has more skills, if I kill him, there will be more drops. It's inaccurate to say that, it should be because there will be more scrolls of spells. Elf continued, if you kill an enemy character with the first kill, the spells contained in the drop scrolls are all the spells of the master of the killed person. If the master has 1 skill, he can only drop scrolls of 1 skill at most. If he is a master of 100 skills, if he has a special explosion rate, he may drop 100 kinds of skills. Quote. That's it. Lu Han understood. It was the first time he knew that there were such rules, because this was the first time he had killed a ninja with a lot of skills. The former patriarch of the Ghost Lamp clan, the current chief elder of the Ghost Lamp clan, the elder brother of Kurigakure Mizukage, and the 60-year-old Ghost Lamp Chuntao, how many spells does he master? At least 100 of them, right? Hundreds. Normally, under the same talent, the older the ninja, the more master skills, because they have practiced for a long enough time. Lu Han quickly counted the drops. For the current Lu Han, most of the dropped items are useless. What Lu Han really cares about is the big blue bottle, rare weapons, A-level S-level spells, spiritual potions, ingots, etc. There are only 3 ingots. A bottle of psychoactive medicine. 3 large blue bottles. No rare weapons, no S-rank scrolls. Ghost Deng Chuntao dropped a total of 36 items, of which 22 were scrolls of Dujutsu, many B-level ninjutsu, and there were also quite a few A-level ninjutsu scrolls, there were 7. 4 kinds of ninjutsu, 2 secret techniques, A demonic illusion. All are A-level techniques. These 7 techniques are all Master Lu Hanwai's techniques. But Lu Han didn't use their minds. Of course, the strength will increase, but the increase is very limited. Ninjutsu really doesn't need too much. Precise route. Master is a more powerful S-level technique, which is more powerful than the various A-level techniques of Master. Of course, if there is a special A-level technique, the more bizarre A-level technique should still be a Master, but the 7 A-level technique scrolls dropped by Gui Deng Chuntao are not too strong or special. Call. Uzumaki suddenly appeared in front of Lu Han, spinning as if to devour everything. Lu Han took the scrolls of the 7 A-level spells one by one before recovering Uzumaki, looked at the prices, and threw them all in. The highest price was the demonic illusion scroll, which was worth 25 ingots, and one of the 2 types of magic was 15 ingots. 20 ingots for one type, and 10 ingots for the 4 types of secret techniques, totaling 100 ingots. The recycling rate is not fixed, but after comprehensive calculation, the average recycling rate is exactly 50%. The 7 A-level scrolls have given Lu Han 50 ingots. Unexpected joy. Lu Han was a little excited. This time, he gained a lot. He thought he could drop 2 or 3 A-level scrolls the most, but he didn't expect to drop 7. 33 before, this time I lost 3. I recovered and returned 50, making a total of 86. It's still 34 from the 120 I need. As soon as it turned over, there was an extra weapon in his hand. Sickle, blade of Kurigakure. Lu Han hesitated, considering whether to recover the Kurigakure's blade. Time flies, in the blink of an eye, it is already 5 days later. The military headquarters of Uzushiogakur village, the atmosphere is depressed, a sense of chill. Sarutobi Rodan stood with his hands behind his back, with an extremely ugly face. In front of him were a Jonin and 2 Chunin. They were not Konoha or Uzushiogakur ninjas, but Kurigakur ninjas. Of Kurigakur. My lord said, give you half a month to think about it. If you can't give us an answer within half a month, we will execute Hyuga Heian. Kurigakur Jonin said coldly. News from the messenger of Kurigakur, the head of the Hyuga branch, Hyuga Heian, has been captured.